Welcome to Natural 6! Yay! This is episode 5 of our adventures in Reliquiae. An important thing to tell you at this point is our Patreon is live!
Yes!
We have a Patreon. People have been asking on our Discord, which you should check out if you haven't already, what were our plans? What were we going to do? How the hell are we going to keep this show going? And Patreon is the answer. So if you would like to have a look at that, there will be a link, I'm assuming, in the I've never got to do that before.
it.
There'll be a link in the old doobly-doo. So that's what Matt Cockle says. That's a D&D joke for people who are really into YouTube D&D. So yes, we've got Patreon. Check it out. And
because we'd love to keep doing this.
We'd really love to keep doing this. I mean, and we should really meet the people who love to keep doing it. Why don't we say hi to our heroes?
Hi, I'm Aoife Wilson, and I will be playing Dolly de Winter, the Tiefling Bard.
Hello, I'm Alex Jordan, and I'll be playing the Kobold Rogue.
Ooh, I'm Doug Cockle. I'll be playing what?
No, it's lovely. You yes-anded.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I'm Doug Cockle. I'm playing Kelnis, the Dragonborn Druid.
Hi, I'm Hollie, and I'm playing Indelian Rinnan, the Human Fighter.
Hello, I'm Ben Starr, and I play Radiant Thornblair.
Tony Blair.
Blair Wardle. I play...
Let me get you a piss
Scale.
No, that was really good.
I love that you ran with a political joke and you ran with Gossip Girl.
The two flavors of our group.
Doug, you did such a good job earlier. Hi, I'm Ben Starr, and I play Radiant Thornblair. Shade Thornbear, the Wood Elf Wizard.
Oh, and I'm McEntire, and I'm your Dungeon Master.
Yeah,
You should totally
yeah.
back us on Patreon.
Yeah, you should. I mean,
Professionals.
because who wouldn't want to see more of this? Also, I really like, and I
The Gossip
don't.
Girl one shot that we're going to do.
I really like that you do like a Brazilian footballer. You're just Hollie, and everyone else gives full names.
Yeah.
I would have said Zendaya, but like.
Oh, okay. Again, we yin, we yang.
Again, the two flavors.
I prefer yanging, really.
Yeah, you strike me as a yang.
Always got your yang out.
Oh, God.
Oh, boo!
It is spring.
There's an edit point, or maybe not. Right. Without further ado,
No.
shall we play some Dungeons and Dragons? Last time, we began in the aftermath of the fight with Jasmine, the 5 of you, and Housewife's Choice Morgan, the newly dead, alone in the forest, holding the letter in which Barabask had condemned you. Morgan told you it was time for him to depart, that he would be reporting back to the spinner, who had been kept abreast of developments up to this point. Knowing that your path led towards Barun, you said goodbye before the sounds of the Festival of Benediction and the promise of caramel treats proved impossible to resist. Dolly, I, and Kelnis convincing Endelian and Radian to let them check out the market. You slipped unnoticed into the tents, I stealing his body weight in artisanal gnomish popcorn before Endelian was finally able to take the edge off with a goblet of spiced wine. Dolly spied an opportunity to make some quick coin and set up a stall hawking the many spoons that Kelnis has made on his travels. A crowd soon gathered, and spoons were selling like hotcakes before Endelian spotted Pollyanna, the junior cleric of Theolon, who you first met when you entered the festival. Kelnis scrambled to gather his spoons as you all prepared to run, before a clutch use of thaumaturgy from Dolly attracted the attention of Pollyanna and the other festival goers to a new caramel cellar starter. It's rich storytelling. You left the festival and, guided by Kelnis, who knew the roads well, made your way to a tavern, the Old Oak. There you drank and ate your fill, Kelnis gifting Dolly an ornate spoon, and I joyfully discovering the existence of high chairs. As the others made for their comfortable beds, Radian sought out the quiet of the forest. He dug a hole in the earth and buried a deck of cards inside it, silencing the perpetual whispers and screams he could hear in his head. With that done, he burst into uncontrollable tears. God, he's complicated, but I know I can fix him. The next morning, you headed for Barun, taking a shortcut through the forest so as to avoid a ponderous journey by road. As you made your way through the dense trees and foliage, Kelnis spotted light and heard whispered voices. I, the character not the me, and Radian snuck forward, spying two figures dressed in slate grey cloaks with silver masks. They were disagreeing over their orders to wait in the forest, with one of them relishing the chance to bleed the council and making particular reference to someone, very good, Harry, very good speaking of English, making particular reference to someone called Trusk. The other insisted that having written the message, they were now to wait for further instructions. Radian snuck back to relay this to the others, and Dolly approached, but a misplaced step in the dry bracken alerted the figures to her presence. She attempted to pass herself off as a lost traveller, heading for the toilet miles from the road, but as she headed back into the dense forest, I watched as the masked figures prepared to follow. The kobold bolted back to you all with Dolly still in the open, and the others hid as an arrow flew from the trees and struck Dolly in the chest. Another followed, and Dolly fell.
Jeez.
Two enemies, one wielding an axe and the other a bow, approached to inspect the body. Radian cast web, restraining two of them as Indelian emerged to slice into the axeman. A third enemy emerged from the trees, wielding a rapier, and he too went on the attack. I was first to Dolly, bringing her back with a potion of greater healing, and from this point on, Dolly, rescued from death, got pretty dark. Radian killed the archer with a mote of acid before the rapier-wielding masked man battled with and, sliding a rapier between his ribs, downed Kelnis. I, the character not the me, slew the axeman with a crossbow bolt as Dolly brought Kelnis back with a healing word. Radian cast Mind Spike on the rapier wielder, gaining the ability to psychically locate him. Realizing the danger he was in, your remaining enemy fled into the forest with the words, "The shadow will flood." Thanks to the Mind Spike, Radian and I were able to track him through the trees before another well-placed crossbow bolt to the back brought the runner down. I approached, wearing a mask like that of his enemies, having cast Silent Image and attempted to gain more information, but learning little. He discovered a letter on the body. Radian arrived and begrudgingly praised I before reading the letter, which said, "Camino, write the message on the mural, then return to the forest and wait, the water will soon rise." As Radian put the letter in his pack, he discovered the deck of cards he buried in the forest had returned to him. And as you searched the bodies in the area around the campfire where you had happened upon your enemies, you discovered black paint and a brush before Radian suggested that Dolly, Kelnis, and Indelian adopt the identity of the three enemies you had killed and wait for instructions to arrive. This course of action decided on, you remained in the forest, and that's where we are now.
I just had a thought. If we're going to pretend to be these folks, we should probably strip them of their accoutrements and wear their clothes, shouldn't we?
Yep. We've got masks, we've got cloaks, and we've got gloves. I suggest we use them. Before we, well, I don't know if everyone's going to carry on with that, but I wanted to get my potion of greater healing and put it in Ai's paw.
Claws. Let's go with claws.
And be like, you need this. I need you to take this.
And I says,
I will keep hold of it for you.
So you want to gather these bodies, you want to take the clothing, take the masks, the cloaks, this sort of signifiers of whatever group they seem to be. Yeah, so that's a very simple thing to do. You now have three sort of semi-stripped bodies in the middle of your sort of little circle, but you have the items that you can put on, and you appear, and Dolly and Kelnis, to be, to all intents and purposes, members of this particular group. You're all, I mean, the only one who probably isn't quite the right build is it was really quite a beefy beefy boy.
Yeah.
So you look like you maybe lost quite a lot of weight. But other than that, you're in the gear. You're in the garb.
We should probably bury these bodies as well.
Well,
Just
maybe not bury.
I was about to say, we don't want to
go.
go. That's you have to dig it for a while to. That sounds like I've done it.
Well, also because you're
That'll
very much
work.
doing it in your voice, not I. Listen,
So by the way,
let me tell you something about hiding a
talking
body.
about 7-8 hours. No, so I has got a claw on each wrist of the big beefy boy and is just going, trying to drag into the foliage, and then just turns to Calvin and goes, "Big scale," like that.
So what do you want to do with these bodies? Because they
we gotta
are
do something
they are
with them. We gotta hide them at least.
Yeah.
Sort of undergrowth foliage we can just
Yeah.
sort of cover them with.
Yeah, I mean, we were able to
Can you
use
cover
it to hide in the combat moment. It's that thick that we could.
Could you cover them with your cloak and make the cloak like a bit of a undergrowth color? I know it can only look like a cloak, but
I was thinking that I could use it to hide though in this
okay.
moment because
Of
I'm going
course,
to need
yeah,
to.
sorry.
Yeah, so I and Radian haven't got the ability to take on clothes because they wouldn't fit and there aren't enough.
Yeah.
But you've got this sort of little fire that was kicking out some wet wood, some kind of black smoke. That's still smouldering, hissing, popping away. It's probably been, I'll say, it takes you 15 minutes to take the cloaks and the masks and get everything ready. But I need to know a plan for for getting rid of these bodies specifically.
I think we need to take them as a good distance away and hide them under some foliage. But I think it's important that we check their bodies for any markings, any signs that might tell us anything about them.
Yes.
Okay. Why don't you roll me investigation on the bodies to see what you can discern?
Thank you very much. It's an 11.
An 11. Okay. You can tell from the human has scars on them, old scars, old wounds that looks consistent with them having had a violent past in some way, shape, or form. You don't know whether those are the marks that would be made, as a guard or as a thug or as a highwayman or but there's been some damage. Whereas the tiefling is sort of unblemished, really. The dragonborn scales make it kind of harder to see those things, but with Calnis's help, you inspect the body, you'd be more familiar with dragonborn anatomy than Radian would. There seems to be sort of nothing remarkable, particularly about the dragonborn body.
Then I suggest we get some foliage, cover them up, and then just go straight back, because we don't know who's going to come, when they're going to come.
We needs to find a place to hide.
Yeah. I say we step back 100 meters, lay low, further back.
No, 100 is long way. I say 20.
20 meters.
the bodies
If you
can
do,
be
why
on
don't we do it in feet, because then we'll know what movement speed would be.
Yeah.
So your movement speed is sort of 35 feet.
I think then-
if you wanted to dash, you can double that. So it's sort of
I
one-
think then 20 feet back would be a good bet, because if we want to just at least get into, although both of us have range. So
Yeah.
we don't actually need to worry so much about. Yeah. Okay. In that case, then should we say 30, which is basically our movement?
But then we're going to have to be prone or something, just like hiding.
Yeah. Looking around this space, is it all pretty flat? Are there any points at which we could maybe have advantage?
The issue that you've got is because the canopy here is quite thick, to the extent where snow, if you look up, you can see it's on the canopy of the trees and on the leaves and some of those higher boughs, but the snow hasn't yet fully penetrated down and started to sit on the layer of the forest floor. So the forest floor itself is still quite lush and kind of almost marshy in places. So even if you could find an area of elevation, you'd have to get up a tree, and then you'd probably only be able to see the tops of the rest of the trees.
Okay.
Because we made the point that you've gone off the path, you've gone off the road. This is a relatively rare instance of what you would have found during the forest, where trees just sort of happen to be growing in a shape that has allowed almost like a a glade, but with a kind of leafy canopy above. Most of the time, the bracken, the undergrowth here is really quite thick.
Yeah. Other thing to say is we have no idea where they are coming from. Therefore, if we plonk ourselves together in one spot, if we split, then we are less easy to see. But equally, if we split, we run the risk of opening ourselves up to the direction they're coming more. The chances are higher.
Could you climb a tree?
I mean, I could climb a tree, but is there a chance of me climbing without having to get so high that I'm like, is there like a tree, I can see a tree where there's like a branch where I'm above, but not?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a forest.
Okay.
It's a forest. I think there are absolutely opportunities for you to get. The canopy is probably 30 feet above you.
Okay, great.
This is an ancient forest. It's been here for a long time. So there would certainly be trees where you could get 10 foot up and you could kind of position yourself in.
I would like to do that.
In the branch.
I would also like to try.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
Famously
not
good at
going
tree
to,
climbing.
at the moment, there isn't a time limit, so I don't think I need to particularly make you roll for it.
Yeah.
I think I's probably able to scramble up a tree relatively quickly. And Radiant.
I could give Radiant a...
Yeah, Radiant gets a
Boost
little
up.
boost off Calnus. You don't have a climb speed, but climbing takes 2 foot of movement for every 1 foot that you have. Right. So you can pretty comfortably, using your acrobatic abilities, you can get yourself up into these trees. What are the three of you doing?
Putting on the cloak,
Okay.
the mask, the gloves, tucking my tail out of the way, because I think my tail is probably a different color than...
Yeah, because the tiefling was
Red skin.
red skin.
Red skinned with black
What
hair.
color are your skin?
Pink.
That different.
In the dark?
I don't want to risk it.
It's a-
I don't want
yeah.
to risk it.
When you first found them, so when you first stumbled upon them, were they just sitting around the fire?
Yes. Well, 2 of them were.
I guess.
They went to get the others, so I think we should mirror
Probably
that.
just mirror
yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
Just do what they were
I mean,
doing.
the other one, we don't know what he was doing. He could have been, like, peeing or... I
Love
don't
this
know.
idea of it. For you, everyone's just off peeing, aren't
Well,
they?
why else would you leave the safety of the fire? I don't know.
We are assuming that they know each other. They're expecting a human, a dragonborn, and a tiefling. We don't know that they know each other.
True. Yeah, true.
You know, they were wearing masks. We're assuming as a result of
Safer to assume there wasn't, or until they
otherwise.
say something. But how badly is the acid splashed mask damaged? Is it damaged?
Ooh, I think because you used chromatic orb and you chose
to
acid
burn it.
damage.
I could.
I
would say-
don't believe that would corrode metal on chromatic orb. I don't think so. I will have a little check, but I don't
I mean,
think.
I can cast minor illusion.
Okay.
Just make it look.
You has the letter.
Yes.
The name?
Camino.
Camino was...
The tiefling.
God.
Do you want me to take that letter? Just
You,
in case?
you is a Camino.
Yeah. I from the tree throw the letter.
Exactly, he's
Might
committed
need
now.
this.
Thanks.
Which one of the three was not at the campfire?
The Dragonborn.
The Dragonborn. So should I
Maybe just loiter nearby.
loiter?
With intent.
Yeah.
Loiter with intent.
I'm sure they're not going to be that pressed about where everyone is standing exactly.
No.
Yeah.
It's a forest. Like, people wander.
Yeah.
pee.
I'll just.
Hey, they do.
I'm just going to roll something.
Okay. Oh.
This is
Okay.
bodily function.
Okay. So you sit down and wait, essentially.
Does this count as a short rest?
Well, I'm going to say that you wait for 4 hours. And nothing happens. What happens is night starts to fall, and the little light that was able to penetrate that canopy from the sun starts to dim, and a squall picks up as night falls. And you can see little twists of moonlight that can make their way through the leaves, but the wind starts to howl. Howls to the extent that the trees, even the ones that you're in, are kind of gently starting to sway in the wind, and the snow is starting to trickle its way through and fall down to the floor here. But 4 hours go by and no one comes. Is there anything anyone wants to do in those 4 hours specifically, other than you can essentially have had a short rest?
I think I should join Dalian and Delian at the fire at this point. So at some point during that 4 hours.
You stood at the tree.
3 hours.
Yeah, you
hours
guys
and
are up in a
59
tree
minutes of
for 4
Kel just stood at the
hours.
side.
Pretending to pee. Yeah.
I think technically for a long rest you need to kind of sleep almost. Does anyone want to try and get some rest? We're now approaching midnight.
I'm in a tree. I'm not going to try and sleep.
No.
I'll fall out.
Yes, you almost certainly would. It's going to mean if you stay up in a tree all night, you two won't long rest and you will have a level of exhaustion the next morning, which will mean that you roll ability checks.
You has spells. I is happy to stay awake in the tree if you needs to.
We
get
could take,
spells.
the three of us could take turns keeping watch, so at least two of us can sleep for a bit and then swap it round.
Let's do that.
Okay. How about taking the cloak? Am I able to tie it around one branch and one branch and like a little hammock?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, I mean, it's also a magical cloak. So you would, I mean, it doesn't add anything to AC, but, you know, if it's made its way, if the history of the cloak is what you believe it to be, which is it's been around for maybe, well, literally thousands of years.
Disguise itself like a branch almost. Can I?
No, absolutely
no.
not.
I tried my luck.
But yeah, so I'm going to roll again and see what happens in the next 4 hours. Okay, still nothing. So now we are into sort of 4 o'clock in the morning, the early hours. Whichever one of you, those of you who've been awake, you've heard the noises of animals, you've heard the howling of the wind. The wind really hasn't stopped. More of these flakes falling through to the canopy, but through the canopy to the forest floor beneath. But no one, as far as you're aware, is approaching.
This is boring.
It is boring. What have we done in terms of short rest or long rest?
So you've now had a long rest in theory. Those of you who've been sleeping. As I said, I can't speak for.
I'm taking a long rest.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Radiant looks over to I. Is I asleep?
Hold on, just to say it's 8 hours. So was I? Because 4 hours in, like, so for me it's only a short rest.
Yeah, you've only had a short rest at this point.
Sorry. Yes, Radiant.
Radiant kind of succumbs to it and realizes that he needs to get a little bit of rest. So he goes, I. Can I join you?
In the hammock?
Yes.
You is welcome, Warmblood.
Don't tell anyone.
Roll me a sleight of hand check to see how strong the knots were that you made, whether or not it can hold the weight of 2 people up in the.
Okay. Yeah.
You're not going to lose the cloak. The worst that will happen is the knots will undo.
That is a 14.
Okay, yeah, I would say that as Radian leans back into the hammock, because he's bigger than you, automatically the weight sort of rolls you onto his chest. And I mean, you know, I don't know if I can take this liberty, but I feel like I is probably out like a light.
Yes,
Just
100%.
Like
Yeah.
Essentially, Radian is now what you would refer to as nap trapped. That someone is having a nap on you, and it's impossible, really, to.
Like a little cat, like a curled up.
Can I just say, totally out of character, this is everything I've ever wanted.
We make it through the next 4 hours. I'd say by this point, everyone apart from Radian has essentially a long rest. Radian has now had the benefit of a short rest, and light breaks, and no one has come in that first night.
Are we all awake at this point?
Yeah.
I'm going to say Radian can do the last 4 hours of his long rest in downtime, as long as you guys don't go immediately into combat.
Great. Good.
I think we need to start, maybe thinking about what if nobody's coming? What if the plan didn't work? What if?
What does the letter say?
The letter says, Camino, write the message on the mural, return to the forest, and wait. The water will soon rise. I mean, we've waited a long time at this point.
And we don't know what we're waiting for. We know why we're going to Baruun. And we've just now wasted an extra day or a night.
Well, we never know. You never know. But, what would have happened? So I just feel like, someone had a feeling that something was going on. So,
And we knows that they wrote the message and came back, or they was going to write the message.
As you're having this conversation, all 5 of you hear like footprints, footsteps, crunching in a way that seems heavy-footed, clumsy, through the undergrowth, heading towards where you are.
I'm going to pull up his mask on.
Pull up
Yes,
the
yes,
hoods.
yes.
The 2 of you are up in your tree, or I guess you were talking to Dolly, so you have the chance to scramble back into. Why don't we roll some stealth checks for me, Radiant and I?
12.
16.
Okay. Let me just bring up the passive perception of this person.
I want to say thank goodness for my sleight of hand on that, because otherwise that hammock would not have stayed in place.
That would have been funny.
It's a low dice roll.
Okay, cool. So, the noise continues. This footsteps getting closer and closer. And you see a face in a silver mask part trees. And the features are obscured, but you can tell from the build that it's either a very, very, corpulent, is that the right word? Halfling or a dwarf. It could be a slightly beefier gnome who, slate grey cloak, this mask, big pack on the back, and a quarterstaff that they're plugging their way through. And they put their face through and they say, "Oh, I have been looking for you all night. I do not know the forest. I sit down."
Dolly's going to hold her hand out to the person.
The voice sounds female. They put their hand in yours.
She casts Charm Person.
Okay. What do they have to do?
I believe it's a Wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
It's a Wisdom saving throw of 14.
They rolled a 16 on the die.
Okay.
Do they know that they
do
have been
not.
charmed? Okay,
I don't believe so. It's only at higher levels.
Okay. You see that as you put your hand out, they look at you, and there's a moment where the eyes kind of almost soften, widen, and then they snap back, and there's an almost imperceptible shake of the head. "Oh, thank you." And they allow themselves to be led over to the fire, and they sit down heavily. You can see on their boots like thick mud, that slight sort of leg shaking thing when you've been walking for a really long time.
What happened?
You are the Camino.
Yes.
You are to return to the caves. And they sort of grin behind the mask.
Everything go well?
You have all the information I have. I need to rest here. Will you accompany me there?
Yeah.
Very well. It's been a long journey. If I hadn't found you by mid-afternoon, my supplies are exhausted.
We were just about to leave ourselves.
Sorry. These woods, this forest, this is not my world. Was it a success?
Yes,
Good.
it is done.
Very good. Do you have food?
I think we have some small supplies.
You would have sort
Run
of
through
travel
rations.
rations, that sort of thing.
I'll happily take a ration just out of our... Not saying anything, but I'll happily take a ration out and just pass a
Tin of
ration over.
spam or something.
Yeah, so you take a tin of spam and a can opener. So you take, like some bread and maybe some dried fruit, a little bit of kind of like beef, kind of jerkied meat, that sort of thing, cured meat. And you see that even as she's eating, she barely pulls the mask up, keeping the mask on this entire time, sort of feeding food into her mouth. And you see that she has a like ponytail, hair pulled back, kind of mousy brown.
And while she's eating, I think Countess Says, what should we call you?
Her head snaps up as you say this, and she pulls the mask down. She says, "No names."
No names. What should we call you?
I don't know what reason you'd have. You can call me Traveler.
Traveler works.
And then, still looking at you, the mask comes up a little. Little morsels of food going back into her mouth.
Well, you must need a rest, so
Yes. Yes, very much.
we can wait a little bit longer? Or do we want to...
We're still secreted away in this moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, you two are still up in the trees. I'm going to say that
We can't
you're in a
really-
position where you've kind of overheard
Yeah.
all of this. You specifically got yourself close enough that you could observe what was happening.
We can't really discuss anything, can we? Because she's
Gotta
right
get rid of
there.
it, but yeah.
Unless they sleep. But even then, how do you know
it's too
they are
risky.
absolutely asleep? Because we can't really communicate with you right now. We can't give any thoughts or feelings
yeah,
from
well,
there.
Why did she say she has a pack on her?
Yeah, like a traveler's pack.
Okay.
So it has like a bedroll. It has a water skin. She said she's kind of getting to a point where she couldn't stay around very long. So you can assume she wouldn't have a huge amount of food in there, supplies. She's asked you for food.
How far are the caves from here?
Roll me deception or persuasion.
It is a... 10.
She looks at you in the same way that she looked at Calnis, and she said, "You would have been there as many times as I."
We've been wandering around this forest in circles. I had no concept of...
We are a day from the edge of the forest. I'm gonna have her roll something. Okay. Perhaps it is best that I make my own path.
More than understandable.
It would not. I would slow you down. You would, I'm sure, slow me down. One way or another. It's faster traveling alone, but I need to rest, and you have been here long enough. Make your way to the caves. I will not be far behind.
You can do that. Sure.
Again, I've not got the charisma to get involved in this, but I will probably look at you and be like,
Yeah, how about why don't you take a rest here? We'll keep this quiet. We'll meet up at the caves and we'll talk more. And she's going to cast suggestion.
Right. What does she need to do for suggestion?
Suggestion is, I believe it's another wisdom save. That is, wisdom saving throw.
Okay. 19 on the die.
Okay, fine.
I so want to talk to you guys.
I will rest. But do not wait for me. We shall see each other again, I'm sure.
All right. Well, no use waiting around. Let's go.
I think we'll just pick up our packs and the three of us will just head out.
Eye grips Radian's wrist and just shrinks a little bit more and just focuses, just as if to kind of convey weight.
Roll me insight with advantage just to see if you get the message.
I don't.
Okay. What was your highest roll with advantage?
5.
Okay. Eye puts his arm on you, and he crouches down, and he has that look of a predator about to attack. and it appears to you that I is preparing a spell, preparing an action to leap from the tree and to begin combat.
Yeah, and Radiant does.
Oh God.
On the sleeping, on the, what's her name? Or their name? They don't have a
They
name.
call themselves Traveller.
Traveller.
They're just sort of settling down. They're making they're still awake. They're
heard
making
this, though, were they? Or were they?
heard what?
These two, they're
Yes,
up in the tree.
they specifically got into a tree close enough, I think.
Oh, okay. So they can hear the conversation.
He goes, Radiant says to let her live, let her leave.
And he casts Mind Spike on. He casts Mind Spike on the Traveller.
Okay. So what do they have to do on Mind Spike?
They must make a Wisdom saving throw, or take 3d8 psychic damage. On a failed save, they take half as much, but on a successful one, they take 3d8 on a failed save, half as much on a successful one. On a failed save, you also know where the target's location is at all points until the spell
Okay,
ends.
I'm going to roll in front of the table for this, in front of the screen. I have rolled a 16, a 20, and a 19 so far for this person. They do not have great wisdom. Your spell save, I believe, is a 14. They have a +0. So a 14 or higher, they pass. That's a 17.
Oh my God. Literally, before this, Harry rolled a 1 and said, sucks for you guys, I'm going to be rolling
I
amazing.
said, I'm rolling high today. Yeah, that's a 17.
Yeah.
So, you send this spike of psychic energy into their brain. Roll the damage and they take half on a success, right?
Yeah. I'm so sorry.
You're not sorry.
They take 5 damage.
They take 5 damage. Okay. 3d8, you rolled 5 damage. You rolled 10. Of course you rolled 10. The three of you, in fact the 4 of you that are all watching this, you see she's preparing a bedroll, she's taking a blanket off the top of her pack, undoing, and then and her head goes back. The mask kind of rises up and you see this quite young, freckled face. And then she pulls the mask down and, what is that? What is it? What have you done? She is going to roll. Everybody roll initiative. Holy shit.
Nat 20.
Okay. Anyone roll higher than a 20? Maybe. Go ahead.
Natural 20.
Natural 20, and you have a
And I have
dex.
+3. So
You have a +3 and you have a +3. Oh, you can't.
I have
be-
a
you've got
plus
spud in.
5.
You have a +5. Okay, so it's going to be I, then it's going to be Kelnis. Anyone roll a 15 or higher? What'd you get?
18.
And Delian got an 18?
18.
18 for Radiant, so we're going to go
Nice roll.
I, Kelnis, and you have a +2 to dex and a +3 to dex?
+3.
+3 for Radiant, a +2 for Endelian. Then it's going to be this person, and then
7.
Dolly at the end.
There she is.
So as she sort of picks up her quarterstaff and holds it out in front of her. At the moment, she's only looking at the 3 of you that she's been sat with, Endelian, Kelnis, and Dolly, and she has her hands out in front of her. Her back is to you. It's your turn.
Can I hold and prepare an action to shoot if she attacks?
Absolutely, you can.
I want to hold because at the moment, she's been traveling. It's been a long journey. There could be something, there could be a myriad of things. So I don't want to attack right now if there is a chance that this can be
De-escalated.
Yes, so I'm going to hold and prepare an action to shoot with my crossbow at the moment she attempts to attack.
Very good. Kelnis, that is your turn. You can use your action, you can attack, you can do something, but you can also use your action to persuade. You could use your action to try and talk her down from the edge if you think she's in a violent space and you think you could soften that stance. Or you could just sort of turn into a newt.
Was that one of the
Yeah, you just
selected?
wild shape into a newt if you want.
I'm so torn. There's part of me that thinks that I should just kill her. And there's another part that thinks that Kelnis wouldn't do that.
The yin and the yang.
Oh, and you tend to yang.
And you
as we
tend to
discussed.
yang. Just saying.
I think... Oh my God, I know.
It's agonizing.
Wow.
I like the idea of in this moment, everything's tense, and Callis is just stood there going,
No, I'm in a real jam here, traveler.
It's a pickle.
We know nothing about this little creature. I'm not great at persuasion or threatening. I have
Okay,
very low
only thing on
charisma.
so here's a little homebrew rule that I think is not rules as written, but I think is good. I think intimidation. You should be able to use your strength modifier to intimidate. If you can intimidate in such a way that uses a show of strength, I think that would be very intimidating. I would suggest that a lot of bouncers in the real world have pretty high strength and don't necessarily have high charisma, and yet they're very intimidating. So you could use your strength modifier rather than your charisma modifier if you wanted to. You do a show of force and intimidate without doing damage to her.
I think I'll do that then. I think I want to try and, I think I say, "Oh, traveler friend, what happened to you was not all making."
I would say that's probably
flex.
I would say that's probably
no, make it.
Stand down.
okay, roll me an intimidation check, but use your. Do you have proficiency in intimidation, or do you have like a little black dot next to it on that skill?
No.
Okay,
I
so
have
just
-1 on
great. So
intimidation.
instead of that -1, ignore that -1. What is your strength modifier?
+3.
Okay, so you can roll and you can do a +3 instead of a -1.
21 with the modifier.
Okay, so 21. So you say fucking stand down, and you see her hands are shaking as she's trying to hang on to this quarterstaff. She says, "I will not hurt you if you do not hurt me again."
I did nothing.
She very slowly lowers her quarterstaff, looking round at the three of you. Kel, Endelian, and Dolly. You should leave. You should leave. I don't know what you have planned for me, but I have nothing but the message.
How about you tell us a little bit about yourself first?
Roll me persuasion. Or intimidation, actually. You could intimidate at this point.
Dolly is intimidating.
I think she is intimidated already.
Yeah, it's not great. It's a 13.
It's a 13. What do you want to know?
I want to know everything about you. Where you came from, where you're going, what your plans are, what your dreams are.
I do not make plans. I was given a message to bring to you by those who send us all.
It's a shame for you. My friend here, he gets a bit angry when we don't get answers.
I have nothing to tell you. I have nothing to tell you. We're out of initiative. She is going to essentially she's going to run. She's going to run, and she just stands up and she bolts out trying to get out into the forest. Last time we were on Kelnis's turn, this is kind of all happening on Kelnis's turn. So Radian, you can see her, you can all see her as she tries to bolt away.
And he immediately casts web.
Okay. Webs come from a 20-foot cube. Is it a 20-foot
it's
cube?
a 20-foot cube.
They engulf.
Just to be clear, I'm standing down. I'm not gonna.
Oh yes,
I'm
of
not
course.
gonna use that.
You don't want to use that. So she has to make a dexterity saving throw against your spell save DC or be restrained.
Yes, correct.
Okay. She rolled a 16.
God, this little halfling.
Which passes.
I'm taking the dice off you.
And I have not rolled lower than a 14.
It's ridiculous.
She like these webs like spring up around her, and you see her, like when a particular character in a particular thing is cutting through the particular webs of a particular spider near a particular mountain carrying a particular ring. It's like she manages to sort of like push her way through it. She's still within the area of the web, but she's not restrained by it. Mm-hmm. She's in the center of that cube, so I will say she's 10 feet from the edge of that cube. You've centered the cube probably on her, right? Okay. So she will... That is now Indelian's turn.
Lock an arrow.
Okay. So you knock an arrow.
And I roll a 17.
Okay. That hits.
So that is going to be a...
Don't you have a ranged modifier as well?
Um...
Not that it matters, I guess, because it hits, but...
No, I don't.
So you don't... What did you... Yeah, whatever you add to it with your longbow is whatever you add to it.
Yeah. So now I'm going to be a D8 plus 4.
Yeah.
Is that an 8? So bad with these. Yes, that's an 8. It hits for 10.
Okay.
And I'm just going to loose the arrow and be like, that was a bad decision to run.
It hits her in the back, and she just topples forward into the webs like that. She's dead.
Dead.
She's dead.
She had a choice.
Indelian.
No, she had a choice.
Indelian.
Shouldn't have run.
We could have talked to her.
When?
Rip the
When
mask
she's
off and
when
go
she's
search.
run through the forest.
I wanted to restrain her.
He tried.
So you rip your mask off?
Yeah, I'm gonna go search her.
Okay, go search her. Roll me an investigation check, see what you can find in the pack.
I believe that's a 10.
I'm assuming we're probably climbing down as this. We're not just going to stay in the hammock.
I like the idea that you're so good at climbing. You actually climbed down head
Can I have
first.
someone help me? Someone help
And
me.
you got it back.
Oh yeah, you can. So you
I'll
can
go
give
help.
you can
I'll-
give
yeah,
advantage on the
yeah.
roll, I guess. you
It's even worse.
you
It's
just,
still a 10.
I mean, you deserved it, frankly.
It's like you're the anti-Harry today.
So what you find on the body is you find exactly what you'd expect to find. Really, you find a little money pouch with roll me 2d10.
Where are we at?
That's it.
9, 8.
17 pieces of silver.
Could be worse.
Could be worse.
You find a water skin. You find some rope. You find essentially everything that you'd find in a traveler's.
Useless. Nothing.
And nothing else. Mm.
No, nothing else.
That's on them, right?
And what
the
did
pack.
you roll? What did you roll?
10.
We're not gonna
No.
keep repeating
No,
because otherwise
no,
we'll
no,
just
no,
go
no,
round.
yeah.
and
No,
so-
no,
Yeah.
19.
Listen, this was a big fat waste of time.
Yes, it was.
But wait,
I would say, but we knows the caves is one day.
In which
There could be
direction?
In any
Bats,
direction.
bats.
No, I'm
Edge
going to
of
be
the-
really clear. The edge of the forest
Edge of
is
the
one day.
forest.
She didn't tell you anything
No.
about how far away the
So,
cave
yeah,
was. She
so-
said it's a long road.
yeah. Well, so my what I'm trying to convey is, we asked where the caves were, and she was like, the edge of the forest is a day away, which suggests, okay, so that's the direction, the edge of the forest now.
With Kelnis's understanding of the woods,
hell are
which
you
we
going?
ascertained he has.
Yeah.
Which direction is a day? Is there one direction is 3 days to that edge? 2 days to that edge?
You know it's about half a day to the edge you came in. So you came in from the western side. It's about half a day to the western side. It's about a day to the eastern side.
So,
Which direction is
caves
Baruun?
is to the
Baruun is east.
Caves is east. Baruun is east.
We're not looking for caves. We're going to Baruun.
We go east.
They is both in that direction.
Let's just chalk this one up to a misadventure, and let's not dwell too much more on it.
We know they exist. We know they've done something in Baruun. We know what we're looking for with the masks at the very least. But there was nothing else to learn.
I know a little bit about Barun. I'll take you to the mural. We'll check it out on our way to whatever else that we've got to do there. But
Then we goes to Baruun.
And I kneel down next to the dead body and go,
This was just a misadventure.
Takes my arrow and puts it in his own pack.
Okay. So you
Halfling.
Shouldn't have run.
so you can take the you could again this is an amount so This is a creature that is a small, I think a dwarf, is your size medium or is your size small in 5e? Your size is medium. So between 4 and 5 feet tall, but you could wear the cloak. You wouldn't necessarily need to wear the cloak, but the cloak would therefore fit Radiant. The mask could be put over your face if you want to. At the moment, you haven't said anything about wanting to take the extra mask, take the extra cloak and the gloves.
Okay, I would like to. I suggest, Radiant, you takes this.
And as you take it off, it's a dwarf. It's like quite a young-looking dwarf.
Oh, it's a dwarf.
Yeah, could have been a rotund or a rotund halfling or gnome or a dwarf from the build, and you discover it's a dwarf.
Sorry, buddy. Shouldn't have run.
Yeah. Why didn't she have a Scottish accent?
She has a Scandinavian accent, and I think you'll find that dwarves have one or the other in my set. Did you think Gronoth was Scottish? Did you think that was me trying to... Oh, the gods are dead.
Didn't want to say anything.
Radiant takes the cloak, puts it on.
Okay.
Yep.
No, I'm going to suggest we take them off. We just want to be travelers now. For me, I don't think we want to be bumping into any more of these people.
Nope.
We don't know enough to try and to convince them. It was very clear this person already thought we were
edgy.
Yeah,
We have packs.
I'd put them in our packs.
Yeah.
I'd go on as a group of travelers.
As Radiant puts on the cloak, he realizes everyone else has taken them off. And he looks around going, I don't understand these people. Takes them all off.
So you make your way through the forest, you start heading east, and that squall that's raged all through the night has calmed, and you march and walk through the dense forest. You're able to get there a little quicker than a day because by virtue of Kelnis having knowledge of this kind of terrain. And so by the time you make your way to the edge of the forest, it's just before sundown. And as you've neared the edge, that canopy has become thinner and more sparse, and the first patches of snow have begun to really fall and cover this frosty ground. And the ground goes from that sort of marshy, boggy, deep in the forest to you can hear your footsteps suddenly, not on the crack of leaves, but on that kind of almost that sort of harder noise of almost like walking on stone when you're walking on really fast frozen ground. And when you reach the edge of the forest, you have your first uninterrupted view of the sky in however many days. And the snow is still falling, but it's falling gently from sparse cloud coverage. And you cross over a small river, and you can see the top of Mount Atria for the first time on this relatively clear night. And it looks free from snow, looks as it always has. And just in the distance, maybe a couple of hours walk from where you are, you can see the walls of Baruun, the city of Union. And I'll give you a little bit of information about Barun as you approach it. So when the Virtuous left Alvelion, the capital city of Reliquiae fell into ruin. And in the first centuries of the world, when Escalon, Coressian, Lode, and other cities were being founded, the people that populated these were often divided along racial lines. And from their seat in Alvelion, the Virtuous warned against this kind of segregation, and then those same cities began to open their doors to all. When Alvelion was abandoned, it was decided that they needed a new capital, one that would represent the unity that the Virtuous had always preached. And Baruun is that capital, a 3-tiered circular city, which is still under construction, 100 years after its founding. It's the most extraordinary architectural and engineering marvel of the world. There are 3 tiers, which are 3 districts. There's the Depths, which is a lower level in which manufacturing predominantly takes place. And then above that is the Deal, which is a site of a great market and much of the housing. And above that, the Crest is home to the estates of the rich and powerful. But beyond the city walls, there are also these what were once shanty towns but have now become districts in their own right. As the city has grown, but the walls have not been able to accommodate all those people, there's this sprawling life that spreads out from the city. So by the time you you get to the edge of these sort of shanty towns, these new districts, these, if you like, suburbs, you're still probably an hour away from the walls of Baruun themselves. So vast is the spread of the city that's just kind of sprung up from the organic needs of this growing citizenry. And so those of you who've been there before, and that would definitely be Dolly, would definitely have been here, as would Endelian, as would Kelnis. I think you would know Baruun enough to have been in it maybe once or twice. I think some of you have probably been there a lot more than that. But there are 4 gates. There's a north, an east, a south, and a west gate. You can head for whichever one of those you want. The north or the west would probably be your closest gate to where you are.
So, any preference? I think we should probably head in by the west, like personally, but how are you feeling?
Westgate works for me.
Feeling lucky?
I goes where you goes.
West sounds good.
Thank you, by the way, for saving my life and stuff.
It's what we does.
Well, it's not what everyone does.
It is what tribe does.
Yeah, but we're not your tribe, so it counts for a lot.
I just
Gives a little nod.
A little pat on the head.
So you start to make your way through this series of streets outside the city, and you have, as the sun is now kind of setting and night is falling, the taverns are starting to open, and it's not quite the revelry of the Festival of Benediction, but it certainly feels like a place that's full of life. It doesn't feel like a city that's been kind of cowed. It doesn't feel like a place with the iron grip of a sort of authoritarian state. It's a free city. It's a city of opportunity for a lot of people. And there is the odd, kind of kids playing in the street. There are stalls selling food, and some of the things that you'd get here, there's lots and lots of arable land for all kinds of different things. And one of the things that they grow here is a lot of hops. So there's lots of different kind of beers and lots. There's a big IPA community.
The dwarves have been here.
The dwarves have been here, and actually that is a thing that the dwarves guard the idea that they're very good at making beer. But even they would admit that the Baruun stuff is really pretty good. And you pass the odd pair of guards in brown leather breastplates. There's lots of woolly underlayers, lots of people with big woolly hats on, mufflers, scarves wrapped up against the cold.
Get my traveling cloak out and
Traveling cloak. You're putting your hood up, Dolly. The rest of you
Always got his head up.
always got the. Of course, Radiant does. I always got the hood up. It's the album cover, and it's not squalor, but people just sort of living. Dogs and cats. Some people have got chickens and goats tied up.
So much more fun than the forest.
Yeah.
And you approach the western gates. And the gates are open, but you see that there are a couple of guards on the gate, a dwarf and a human. And they look really bulky, lots of, again, woolen layers sort of right up underneath their chins. And they're sort of giving a nod to some people that they recognize, having little words with others. It doesn't seem to be a full search, but there's at least a little bit of checkpoint. There's a little bit of a checkpoint as you enter.
I feel like those masks, I don't think that's something you want to be caught with. I feel like they were in Baruun doing something they shouldn't have been.
Always stash them somewhere and get them later.
I have this gut feeling that if your bag was searched and a guard was to find that could be something they're looking for. So these people, it was, even from the messages that we have found, painting on the mural and, the shadow will flood, trying to do something in Baruun.
Is there anywhere nearby that we could like a loose stone or anything like that?
Absolutely. I mean, you're essentially in a sort of winding, higgledy-piggledy district. So there would be all kinds of nooks. There would be market stalls, a lot of which have kind of packed up for the night, which have like the tables and the big structures have been left out, but they're free of produce. You could, if you're looking specifically for somewhere to stash something, roll me an investigation check.
Natural 20.
Natural
now
20.
I get it.
Wow. I'll tell you what you
They
find.
are so hidden.
You find that there is a grate in which you can see, like there's a sewage system. It's a bit of a sort of pokey smell coming off it, but this is away from the main thoroughfare. There's this little iron grate. Looks like one or two of you could lift it, and perhaps you could stash something kind of within there.
Someone give me a hand with this?
And I.
Tankus.
Yeah, sure.
Great.
I'll help you.
So Kel and Dolly, I'm going to say that you're able to get that. You're able to get the grate off, and you find a sort of relatively like the water's flowing underneath, but there are other pipes that kind of go alongside it within that wider space, and you could stash things on top of one of these pipes.
I'm going to take one cloak, kind of like bunch it up, throw the mask and gloves in, and kind of offer it out to everyone.
Yeah.
Throw them in.
I was about to say, I takes it, gives it, and goes,
I know, so he is not tribe.
Anyone else?
I don't want that stuff in my bag.
Radiant goes up to Dolly and says, I'll take them.
Okay.
And takes them off and stashes them. But he doesn't stash his.
Okay. Roll me sleight of hand to see, and this is just going to be against everyone's passive perception,
Yeah.
to see whether or not anyone notices that you're doing this.
13.
13. Kel,
My passive perception is 17.
Kel, you see that Radian palms his own cloak and mask into his bag. You don't have to do anything with that
Oh,
information.
I know. I think I have to sidle up to Radian and say, Brother, what are you doing?
It's called insurance.
What if they search your bag?
Let's hope they don't.
I think it is a foolish move. If it becomes my funeral, I will kill you.
You have my permission.
Okay. So those items, almost all of them, and the rest of you don't know about that, I don't think, stashed. Then you make your way towards these gates. And as you kind of get to the front of this space, you see just a dwarf and a human checking in with people. And one of them acknowledges the five of you. The human with says, "Oh, you're welcome to the city of Barun." And the dwarf says, "Maybe you should have a look in the. You should have a look in the packs." Roll me a luck check.
Not me.
Anyone
Someone.
who's
Not
feeling
me.
lucky? Who's feeling lucky out
I'll
of the
do it, it's
five
my
of you?
fault.
Okay, so
How do you
a
roll?
10 or
It's
higher.
just a straight-
It's just a straight roll. So a 10 or higher. What was it?
God damn it, Ray.
It's an 8.
It's an 8.
God damn it, Ray.
Okay.
You're on you,
Um,
Morgan.
So they. Who's first? Who's
I'll go
first? in this
first.
queue? Okay.
Yes, please.
And as the
Good evening. Hi.
and the dwarf, the human turns to the dwarf and says, "Why are we needing to do this?"
It's going to really slow down. There's a lot of people coming in.
And the dwarf says, "Well, they told us to."
I get it.
They,
It's
so the
fine.
dwarf starts looking in yours, and the rest of you, like the human gestures for someone to come forward.
How's your night been so far, anyway?
Oh, quiet so far,
Yeah.
not too bad. Yeah, I mean, of course, it's cold.
I
It is
know.
cold, I'll tell you
Tell
that.
me
But so now the human is reluctantly gesturing for someone to
No,
come
but I would
forward
do
and
that
go
anyway.
to his side to have their bag checked.
I'll go.
Yeah,
You'll go.
I'm even going to push Kel. Like,
Okay,
'cause
so
you're
Kel,
big.
Kel starts to go
Blocking
forward.
views.
Kel starts to go forward, and as he starts to like open your bag, this he's doing that thing where he's just sort of squeezing it. It's that real tokenistic checking of a bag, and he turns to his friend and he says, "If If they want paint, they can buy it in the deal. Is this Grenweird throwing his weight around? And the dwarf says, well, you know, he's not been in the city long. Little country mouse trying to throw his weight around, trying to make himself feel important. He's only there because Rashid disappeared.
Sorry, did you say paint?
Yeah, paint. Paint. They've asked us to check for black paint, the mural. That's all it is. You've not got any paint, have you?
Wouldn't even know.
Do you mind if I look?
Yeah, of course.
So she goes through your pack. By this point, Kel, you've been gestured away by this human, and he's gesturing for the next person to come in. Who's going to go next and have their pack sort of checked by the Brummy?
Yeah.
Does that. This is an absolute waste of time, Glenda. Honestly, I'm telling you. It's a waste of everybody's time. And I'm going to have him roll. Okay, he rolled really high on a persuasion. Look, we've done what we needed to do. We've tarried these good people. Good people have tarried long enough. And if the little mouse, far from his burrow, decides that the thing he needs to do to make himself feel terribly important is to track every paintbrush that comes into the city, well, frankly, we've got bigger fish to fry, haven't we? And the dwarf looks at him, looks at you, Radian and Delian, whose bags haven't yet been searched, and goes, go on. Where are you heading?
Oh, we're just going, finding an inn at this point. It's getting late, so...
You'll want to go straight up into the deal. Like the depths get busy all times of night. Just stick to the road. Don't go travelling, especially when, in the winter we're also, we can't always hear people coming, and it's, just be careful with yourselves.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Welcome to Barun. Welcome to the city.
Thank you.
What did you call the second tier of the city?
The deal.
The deal.
So you enter the gates of Baruun, you get beyond the city walls, and there's this great cacophony of noise that hits you as soon as you're through these walls. The clang of hundreds of hammers on metal, the rattle of great wooden cogs turning, and there's workers that are calling over the rumble of machinery. There's the shriek of red-hot metal being quenched in water. You've never been...
I was about to say.
You've never been anywhere like this.
Yeah. I is overstimulated.
Roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. Natural 20.
Okay. No impediment. And I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll give you. On a fail, you were going to take disadvantage on perception checks because you're so overstimulated. Instead, what I'll say is your next perception check you can make with advantage, because if anything, this sudden sensory overload has really heightened and sharpened you and kind of excited you because you've never experienced anything like it.
It's like caffeine for the first time.
So you go in and there's this long, there are these long straight roads. Those of you who've been here before would remember these 4 roads that kind of lead into this central area with a big staircase that leads you up to the higher levels. And there are torches burning all along the road, and beyond that you can see the light in windows of these big factories. And as you look up, the floor, if you like, the ceiling of this level, the floor of the level below, it's all made out of sandstone, but it's like it's smoke stained, smog stained, big black sooty stains on all the bricks. And as you're walking along, you just hear like a "mind yourself," and a few people come forward, and you see that everyone who's coming through here, all the workers, they either have big hats with like flaps down over the ears, or they've got great big like homemade earmuffs on to try and kind of keep that, to prevent damage as everything's rattling and echoing off these walls. And then you approach this central staircase. And around this staircase is a single piece of marble. And there are 4 wide arches, and you can see one in front of you. And carved into the stone are these beautiful reliefs of the virtuous. And up on stepladders are a load of guards who are scrubbing at huge letters written in black paint, "The shadow will flood."
There it is. Didn't have to go far to find that.
Radiant's going to do something.
Brace.
Radiant sidles up to one of the guards.
Mm-hmm.
It says, I have something to show you.
Okay, you tap a guard on the shoulder. There's some of those footing the ladders, about 4 of them on ladders, and you tap the shoulder of an elf who turns and looks at you.
I need to speak to your superior now.
And for what reason?
I have very important information regarding this.
Points up at regarding this.
Yes.
Right. Well, looks up the ladder. Marcus, come down. And one of the person at the top starts to come down.
Can I use message really quickly to be like, what are you doing?
Trust me.
I would like to, in this moment, just use the hustle and bustle around to just sidestep and just stealth and just kind of slip into the shadows slightly to the side. So, so if anyone is in, Marcus coming down, ideally wouldn't just see a party of 4.
Okay, roll me a stealth. Just roll me a stealth check. Yeah, there's plenty of places to hide.
Natural 20. That's 3 nat 20s in a
Oh,
row.
jeez.
That's really quite uncomfortable for me. So
I think not that I can hide like that, but I think I'd have my hood up and I'd want to at least take a wide sidestep. And it's almost, because if it's quite bustly down here, I don't want it to look like we're all stood behind Radiant.
Okay, so I'll say that the three of you, Kelnis, Dolly, and Indelian, you sort of stand a little bit to one side. I slips into a side alley. There's like kind of great there's big sort of wooden built structures which are just filled with like waste. I don't mean sort of human waste, but like waste material, like burnt out bits of wood and rubble and kind of the excess material that are created when you smell, all these kind of things. So you just like go down an alleyway which is filled with essentially bins, and you hide amongst those, and you are completely gone. None of you even see Igon. It's like he casts invisibility on himself almost.
It's like every time I does anything.
And Marcus descends the ladder and looks at the arm, says, "What is it?" He says, "You know something about the paints." Well, what information do you have?
Not here.
This is a big job. We're very busy. I'm not having my time wasted.
He opens his pack and shows him a glimpse of the mask.
Right?
My friends and I were attacked in the woods. We barely survived.
Right.
Whilst we were traveling, we overheard them speak about this.
Go on.
We were innocently walking through the woods. We were pounced upon by some people. I think we disturbed them. We heard them shouting something about paint, something about Baruun. I have never been here before. But we decided we needed to do something. And then I go over to Dolly and go, show them the letter.
Where are these people?
We buried them in the woods.
What's this letter he speaks of? And you get out this letter. Hand it over to him.
Yeah.
Okay. So Marcus takes the letter, see him read it. Where was their camp? Deep in the forest?
Mm-hmm.
What are your names? I'm going to give you a roll with disadvantage if you can't come up with a name in the next 3 seconds.
Pamela.
Radiant. Did you say Pamela?
Pamela.
Pamela. My name's Pamela. His name's Pamela. We're all called Pamela. Radiant. And where are your lodgings in the city?
We don't have any.
We just arrived.
You're with him as well. And Delian, where are you at this point?
I guess I'm kind of in a bit of a cluster with you guys.
Okay, so he's identified the 4 of you.
Yeah.
I'll need to take all your names, please.
This is Indelian. This is Kelnis.
Damn it, right in.
And the last one?
Pamela.
Pamela.
It's the dumbest thing ever.
Pamela.
He looks at you and he says, it's a beautiful name.
Call me Pam for short if you like.
No, you can't shorten perfection.
It's an enchanting name, I know.
It's an enchanting name. You don't expect to be struck so deeply, but these things catch you when you're not expecting it. Okay, he says, I will take this. And he holds the letter to the council. We will. If there's any information that we gather from it, we will find you.
How will you find us?
I have your names. Do you plan on avoiding meeting us again?
No, this isn't how this works. We've given you something, you give us something in return.
Roll me a persuasion check with disadvantage.
6.
Blackmail is a crime in the city walls. You give information to the authorities, you give it of your own volition. I did not come to you and insist that you give me information. I did not insist you turn anything over to me. You came voluntarily and told me that you had information to do with the defacing of a sacred monument within our city. You do not have bargaining power over me. This is not a bargain.
You know what? You're so right. It's been such a long day. I really think we need to retire to our rooms now. And then we'll find you. You can find us later. We're not going anywhere, right?
No, good man. Good man. Perhaps you could offer us some suggestions for an inn.
The Orange Tree is a particularly reputable tavern. And he looks at Radiant. A certain type of person who frequents there. And then turns to the other 3 of you. I trust that you are all travellers of that ilk, that you wouldn't bring any disgrace to a reputable establishment.
Never, no. Not at all.
Well, thank you.
Do you know if they have high chairs?
Of course. It's a very sort of very family-orientated society. It's actually one of the things we're proudest of. He says, well, Kelnis and Delian, Radiant, Pamela, I do hope we encounter one another again.
Cool. All right. Let's go.
Your ability to think on your feet is... you can tell you've DM'd before as well. Yeah.
I think we should see Dolly at some point now in a red one piece.
That is not
Like running.
Running in slow motion along the beach.
Yeah.
Old school. Okay, I like it.
Great.
I'm going to say, with all the clanging of machinery, you would have found this extremely difficult to hear. This is hella noisy. You can roll a perception check with advantage to have overheard that if you want, or you can have been doing something else in a corridor, or you could have just been waiting.
No, Aya's just sitting going,
He calls her what? What?
So you rejoin the party and you climb the stairs. You weave around a central pillar of sandstone as all 4 of these entrances converge onto a single great staircase. The slabs so thick that the cacophony of the depths swiftly fades. And the walls of this stair are carved and painted with a message that is written over and over again. You see it written in Infernal, you see it written in Draconic, in Elvish, in Gnomish, and in Common. And the message says, by the hands of those shaped by the virtuous, that a city might grow in their image, written over and over again on the inside. And you climb 50 feet, ascending into the deal, the second level of the city.
As we enter the deal, have I lost my ability to perceive? Was it just in that moment with the heightened senses in the...
No, you can. It was a nat 20, so
Okay.
you know we'll just
Within reason.
within reason.
Yeah,
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
As we're descending, I just say to everyone, "You're welcome, by the way."
Welcome for what?
Yes,
that was,
welcome for
that
what?
was a ridiculous risk.
We have a lead.
No, we
don't.
What do we have?
I think we do.
Personally, I think we do.
That's just the most brilliant. Agree to disagree.
Well, actually, I think you'll find.
Things don't work like that in Barun. You need to be more careful.
Sure. Pamela.
Yeah, exactly.
You put us
Being
all
more
in
careful.
danger, Radian.
You don't think like me.
You don't think.
Who is Pamela?
And you make your way into the deal, which, even with the dimming of the light, is brighter than the manufacturing district that you've left behind by virtue of the walls that surround it being that little bit lower. So now it's moonlight and starlight that feels, after the darkness of the deal, almost like it's flooding in. And above you, you can see that actually the sky is visible, that the highest level of the city, the crest, it only partially obscures that winter moonlight. And what you emerge into is this great marketplace. Some of the taverns and some of the shops and the stalls still open. Many have closed at this late hour, but those that are still open, they're arranged in concentric circles, and those that are still open, produce and wares are piled high, as if the whole thing at any moment could just fall forward into these narrow streets and block it completely. The things that you see really is food at this time of night, so it's skewers of meat on spits. You can smell that kind of unctuous, rich smell. It's
Connors drools a little bit.
the other thing that you see is these ice-filled stone tanks which have fish that are like alive, still swimming around. These fish that have been transported from Seren, the inland sea.
Moved up against the glass.
So you can check out market stalls, or you can just kind of keep going until you find somewhere that you're heading for. I mean, you could head to the orange.
I want a skewer of meat.
Yeah.
You know what?
My God, that sounds good.
Indelian's going to go up to the store with me. I'm going to buy 4.
Okay. You go to the. You head to the stall, and it's a halfling, big sort of what once would have been a kind of mustard jerkin, but has been so sprayed with fat over the years that it almost looks like it has a sort of spotty dark motif, and. Sort of a bit sweaty, like holding out these things, trying to keep their eyes out the fire. No eyebrows, very little hair on the hands. They're sort of turning these. All right, fancy something, do you?
Yeah, 4 of those, please.
Oh, terrific, very good. 4 copper, if you wouldn't mind.
Fine,
Do you want to take them with bread or as they come?
as they come.
As they come. So hands these 4 sort of long wooden sticks that he then gets 4 raw ones and replaces it, and you hear the sizzle as the fat of the new meat hits the thing.
So I keep 1. I give you 1.
Thank you.
I give you 1. I give you 1.
Kelnis, I, Raid, and
I'm going to look at mine for both.
And then I'm
and
going to look at you, and I'm saying, you're either part of this, or you're on your own.
Radian walks over and says, "I'll have 1, please."
Fine.
I'm stood there with 2 Dolly.
1 copper?
gave
Yeah,
me
Dolly
hers.
gives hers to
I'm
Kel.
just like, oh.
1 copper?
Yeah.
You want yours with bread?
Yes, please.
So he takes a big sort of flatbread and sort of puts his hand in it, takes the thing, squeezes it all off, and then sort of drizzles some herbs and oil on it and hands
Takes
it
it.
to you.
Goes straight up to Indelian. Just takes a massive.
There's like this garlic mayo everywhere. It's like a Friday night, 2 a.m.
It's fantastic, those of you who are into
I mean, so
They're
far, Cal's
really
nose has
good.
not done us wrong.
Really
in terms
good.
of-
So where do you want to head? Do you want to explore the city a little bit, or do you want to head straight to the Orange Tree Tavern or try and find the Orange Tree Tavern?
I could want to take a little wander.
Yeah, I've got 2 big skewers of meat, and I'm not ready for a tavern yet. I just stroll and let that fat drip down onto my...
It's very good for the scales. Very good for the scales.
I think as we stroll, I think this is as good a moment as any to say I'd like to just be looking around to find anything anything that stands out as being like, that's a pretty ideal thing at this moment. En route, either looking for the tavern itself or...
Roll me perception with advantage, darling.
Well. Okay, so that is 11.
11.
Yeah.
You see a tavern. It's not the Orange Tree. It's called the Wise Walker. But with an 11, something... You know that feeling when you look at something and there's something about it that seems off but you can't quite place it? And then the moment's kind of gone and you're like, why was my attention drawn to that? You still can't quite figure out why. But there's something about this tavern that doesn't quite seem... There's something that's grabbed you about it, but you don't know what yet.
I would like to walk up and attempt to, I don't know if I'm too small, look in the window.
Roll me an investigation check as you try to discern what it is that...
Okay. 7.
7. There's a lot of people in there. You're sort of like peeping over the thing, just sort of where your little nose holes and little eyes with your black hood up. And you can just see people enjoying themselves. And it looks like a night time in a tavern. A much busier one than the one you were in yesterday.
What you looking at?
Meat is good with a drink. Beer. Beer sounds good. Shall we, little brother?
Oh, okay.
I just gestures to the door.
Let's go.
Kelnus practically kicks the door and he's so eager for a beer.
Kelnus
He's
is like,
Dual
I'm
wielding
in.
meat.
everyone going straight in, or does anyone want to do anything?
I'm just gonna kind of like stand outside and have a glance around.
Roll me an investigation check. Actually, roll me a perception check. I apologize. Roll me a perception check.
4.
A 4. Yeah, just the kind of busy hum of being in a tavern. There are kind of people moving past you as well. Like it's probably 9, 10 o'clock. It's kind of getting into the people who are out for a good time at this point. There are not so many people who, on their way back from working in the depths all day, are just having a swift one. This is more people who are maybe celebrating, or what are you doing, Radiant?
I'm often a bit of a sulk.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm watching kind of all of this take place, just kind of like sitting, eating my...
Have you gone inside?
No.
Okay. Roll me perception as the three of them head in. Dolly, do you head in after them?
I'm stalling for a minute.
Okay, Dolly and Radiant, so...
19, 20, whatever.
Okay. You see that across from you, as you sit, in the shadows, is a figure in a hood. It's an orcish face. And he's looking at you. He's looking at Dolly. And he takes his eye to the exterior wall of the kind of outside of the exterior wall. He's outside the tavern as well. To the exterior wall of the tavern. And with a 20...
It would have been 20... My perception, sorry. 22.
Right, okay. You follow his eye line, and you see a V, a small V that has been scratched into one of the bricks, which you recognize as the beginnings of a web symbol.
And he's scratching it in.
He looks at you,
Yeah.
and then he looks up at the V,
Yeah.
and looks back at you.
I wander over to Dolly and I grab her hand. And I say, come with me.
And we'll take a little break then.
Well, hello there. It's baby girl Ben Starr here. Beautiful, talented, humble, smooth. And when I say smooth, I mean smooth. Emotionally, figuratively, metaphorically, and for the purposes of this endorsement, textually. Right now, I'm currently smoother than a greased-up kobold. Let your minds imagine that. Now let them imagine harder. Don't be scared. It's smooth in there. But Ben, what witchcraft is this? Why so smooth? Surely you're slipping all over the place. I smell you type into your fax machine. Well, hold. Your overactive fingular digits hold. Because this isn't witchcraft, and this isn't about me anymore as much as I would want it to be. This is about your hairy father. Don't look at me. Look at him. Your bushy dad. If you can see him through all that hair, is that paternal love you feel? How would you know through all the bodily foliage? He disgusts me. By the sounds of all that weeping, he also disgusts you. Well, weep no longer, because Manscaped.com and their limited Father's Day gift set are about to make your father's head and body more aerodynamic than Doug Cockle's majestic cranium. This all-in-one grooming kit comes with a beard hedger, Manscaped's most advanced beard trimmer, as well as shampoo, conditioner, oil, and balm for his beard. It also comes with a brush comb and scissors, as well as the Shears 3.0, the 5-piece precision men's nail grooming kit. Because why give him a simple gift this Father's Day when you can give him what he desires most? Admin. But surely that will be enough for a simple, hairy, humble father such as mine. I psychically hear you chuckle sadly to yourself. Well, you'd be wrong again, because your father's skin deserves to know what it's like to be me in any conversation. Sarcastically smooth. And he finally can with Manscaped's Handyman Face Shaver. It's compact and easy to use, and it can go almost anywhere. And I mean anywhere. Put it this way, I'm holding it right now. And it's not what you think. Plus, the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra, the ultimate all-in-one male grooming kit. And their Magic Mat disposable shaving mat and a pair of free boxers. Wow. This Father's Day, get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with the code NATSIX. That's NATSIX. That's 20% off and free shipping this Father's Day at manscaped.com with the code NATSIX. NATSIX. Smooth that is.
We're back!
Whoa!
Ah, and we go back into Reliquiae, into the city of Baruun, into the deal, the second tier of the city, and outside the Wise Walker Tavern, where Radian has just seen half a web symbol, an orc with a hood, looking at that symbol, looking at Radian. He reaches out his hand. He says to Dolly,
Come with me.
What are you doing?
Come with me. And I Radiant drags Dolly over. And he just says, look.
And? Can you think? Can you stop and think for 1 second? I know you haven't done a lot of it today. What's your plan? What's your goal here?
Radiant walks over to the man and says, the web is wide.
its eyes are as to the stars in the sky. And he looks at you, Dolly, takes you in as well, and says, the spinner sends his regards. We had word you were journeying here. We did expect you to be here rather quicker than you were.
Yeah, we came up against some distractions and diversions along the way.
Well, I can imagine the best laid plans and all that. I hope you're worth the wait. Although, you're lucky it's my watch you arrived on, because the conversation will be a little better this way, and he winks at you. Radiant. He seems kind of very... He's as you get closer, you see within the hood, he's got this kind of narrow face, like great cheekbones, like he's green skin, orc tusks, but has a kind of very sort of twinkly, playful, slightly kind of roguish look to him. Well, according to the information I've been given, this isn't the full complement of you. I do hope your companions haven't fallen by the wayside.
They're fine.
Well, that's a relief.
They're just inside.
Well, there is somewhere else we could go. Have more of a frank discussion, perhaps.
Wise? Yeah, let's go. Do you want us to go get them?
If you would.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to go and get them?
I'll stay here. You go get them.
So Dolly heads inside, and what does she see when she enters the Wise Walker?
She finds me still chewing on his skewers, and there's a beer in front of me on the bar. And I've ordered one for Endelian and I as well.
Same size?
Yes, large.
Right, large.
I've been in the woods for days.
It is the size, it is fully the size, of your head.
Okay. Beer as big as your
I
head.
at the moment isn't focused on the beer. I is trying to explain to someone who works there, a high chair.
The best part is, he's doing this from my shoulders because he wanted to see everything. So he's up on my shoulders with the world's biggest beer,
Brilliant.
trying to explain why he needs a taller chair.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly.
So you are. There is a. Roll me a luck check. I just roll me a d20 higher than a 10. A 5. Okay. You're getting pretty short shrift. It is a dragonborn behind the bar who you can tell is not really having that much of your shtick.
Okay.
Is like this, but is big.
Yes.
Has maybe has table built.
Yes, no.
To chair.
Yes, no.
It has sometime.
No, I understand.
Maybe like has.
What I'm saying to you
has-
is we pack those away, don't we? Because it's night time. We don't have the kids in at night, do we?
It's not for children.
No, it is for children.
No,
That's
no, no.
exactly
It's-
what they're designed for.
Is perfect for I.
You're with your dad, right? He shouldn't necessarily be bringing you out at this time of night. I will say this, sir.
I looks around.
You know, there are licensing laws around here. I get in an awful lot of trouble if I have underage people.
I in this moment has looked around and been like,
I's tribe.
And gestures to Kelnis. If you're going to bring children in here, I think it's very nice and everything. Whatever sort of, and gestures to you and Indelian. You would be like, whatever sort of domestic situation you've got going on, I'm happy for you, honestly.
I take the beer that's for I, and I hand it to him, and I look at the barkeep and I say, "We live differently."
Right, and that's between you and the virtuous. I'm not
particularly.
I'm happy for you, but could you? And then she gets really close to you and says, "We don't have any of your special chairs. If you come in the morning and you want a sandwich, I can get a special chair. Right now, they're locked up, okay? And that's how they stay until the morning."
Is he still on top of Indelian?
Yeah.
I was listening, but as this person is talking to what they think is a child about them coming to get a sandwich in the morning, I is literally just continually drinking this massive...
Okay, this is the most alcohol you've ever drunk. Roll me a constitution saving throw.
It hasn't gone well for me.
Sorry, 1 second. Lord. That is a 19.
You feel that the first drops of it hit your palate, and it's a bit sort of fizzy and a bit sour, and then you just start. It's like you just have an ability to discern different flavors. There's like a tang to it, and then there's something kind of rich, something hoppy, something a little dark. This is really good beer. This is really good beer, and it's going down easy, and it's refreshing, and you can feel some of that kind of the stress of not being able to explain yourself. That's kind of leaving you a little bit. This feels good.
So I just goes,
I has passed this chair. I want another.
And the Dragonborn looks to Kel and raises a scaly eyebrow.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna come in at this point. No, actually, I wouldn't get any more drinks. The elves, up to the usual. I need you to come outside right now.
I like the idea that I would then turn around with Ice on my shoulders and I is still, well, he's like
Like an owl.
all the way out the door.
yes, okay, I'm all in.
So, roll me. I was going to say, can you both roll me acrobatics checks as you try to get out the door with someone on your shoulders? What'd you get, Indelian?
6.
Oh God.
Don't worry, I rolled a 25.
You rolled a 25. So Indelian sort of slips as she goes to sort of accidentally smash you into the door jamb, but you grab hold of the door frame with one hand, still with the beer, little backflip, land back on her shoulders, haven't spilled a drop. Still.
I didn't even know he was gone. Didn't even know he was gone. I pat his legs.
Party's over, guys. Look alive.
So what you see when you while this has been happening, Radian, you're left with this orc who's sort of leaning on the wall of the tavern.
Yeah.
What took you quite so long to get here?
We found ourselves in a little bit of trouble.
That'll befall people on the road, I suppose. Comes with a job, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Mhm.
You haven't been telling us everything.
I haven't been telling you anything.
You expect us to go blindly into all of these things, protecting the Antiqua, killing people.
I'm going to have to stop you, my dear chap. I don't know what you're talking about. What do you talk... Who do you think I am?
Who do you think I am?
You're part of the party that I've been told by the spinner I have to accompany to give you a mission. Who do you think I am?
Are we all there?
No, this is what's been happening while
Yes.
you've been in the bar. Look, perhaps we got off on the wrong foot. Holds a hand out to you, says, "My name's Casper."
Radian.
And he shakes your hand and he looks you in the eyes and says, "Good to meet you. Whatever you think you're walking into, whatever might have befallen you, I can say with all honesty, it's not my doing.
Why are you here?
This is my city."
Why are you here?
What do you think you're asking?
Time?
He leans in and he says, "Darling, we're all here because of time." And then the others emerge from the tavern.
Good chats. Shall we?
Yeah.
Let's keep moving.
This burps.
So, Casper, as you now know, says, a full company. Much better. Right, we'll move as quickly as we can. I know the streets well, but 6 of us creates more of a fuss than sometimes is necessary, so we won't linger too long. Follow me.
Dolly puts her head up.
And he leads you around the largest of these roads that circumvent the market and leads you down kind of alleyways and back streets. Seems to know, he knows this city well. You immediately get the sense that this is someone who has been here for a long time. And finally he leads you to this cluttered row of shops. And among it is this slim building on the edge of a sort of terraced block. And there's a sign hanging from its facade which says, Yesco's Tinctures, Salves and Solutions. Yesco being the name you can assume of the proprietor. But the paint of this sign is faded. The paint of the facade is faded when compared to those that surround it. And the windows are barred and there's a large padlock visible on a chain that secures the main door. And Casper leads you down a sort of side relief passage, little archway above it, and gathers you all in close, looks around and checks his surroundings, makes sure that no one's watching, and puts his hand to the stone wall of the building and says, "Fade." And there's this shimmer, and then the stone fades. And what's revealed is a narrow opening and a little set of steps that lead down. And he says, "Please, be my guest." Or I can go first if you'd rather.
You first.
Dolly goes ahead. Dolly goes in front.
Dolly goes in front.
I'm on Devian's shoulders.
Yes, I'm in
You're
down.
down. You're down.
You're down at this
I'm
point.
down.
You're down.
So the rest of you kind of head down, and he turns to Radian and he says, "If you'd rather go after me or before me, it's entirely up to you."
You go first.
Of course. And he goes down the stairs, and Dolly, you're the first one to get down, and it winds down. You can see this glow of fire that's flickering on the walls as you descend. You're descending into warmth. It feels kind of cozy, the space that you're moving into, although you can't yet see it, and then you emerge into a cellar. And the walls are lined with shelves that hold these bottles that are thick with dust, cobwebs hanging from the shelving. And there's a small table near the stairs with 4 chairs around it. And in the hearth across the other side of the room, there's a fire. And you see a half-elf with close-cropped red hair warming their hands. Over it, there's a cooking pot, which is put away to one side. And then, with their back to the far wall, there's this unfeasibly slender human, very pale-skinned, just staring at staring into the middle of the distance. Their knees are kind of pulled up towards their chest, and there are bedrolls laid out around the edges of the room. And as Casper emerges, he comes downstairs and he says, Juno. He gestures to the half-elf who inclines, who sort of gives you a little wave, smiles, and then says, the quiet one's Goth. That's why I said conversation was better with me. You'll get very little out of Goth. And Goth is still staring into the middle distance. He says, make yourselves comfortable. I suppose you'll...
Go and stand by the fire.
Go and stand by the fire.
I would like to walk around all the walls,
Mm-hmm.
just touch them going, fade.
Okay. Yeah, you walk around going fade, fade, fade. And he sees you doing it, and you see him sort of, those of you who are looking at Casper see him sort of smile. He pulls his hood back and he says, I'm afraid, my friend, it's not quite as easy as that. And he sort of points up the stairs back at where you've seen him. You can see there's just like a little gem that's in the wall, in a little alcove, a tiny little alcove. And he says, it's all powered by that, you see. It's the only one that it works for. We found it this way. Fortunate that we came upon it when we did.
What is this place?
Used to be an apothecary. I mean, a long time ago. But, we came across it, and we've been here a couple of years now.
What do you mean, came across it?
Well, I don't need to tell you that the web has ways of finding things that you couldn't find without them.
There's a lot of things you don't seem to know.
Of course I don't. We're a thread of silk. I'm not the spider. Any more than you are. Tell me where they're from, do you know?
No,
Tell me why they're here, do you know?
I don't care.
Well, you seem to care an awful lot about me.
I don't trust you.
Well, why should you? I don't trust you, but we're here for a reason. My job extends only to telling you what commands the spinner has for
You
you.
don't trust us either, Radiant, so maybe just pipe down a little.
Yeah, take it easy.
You're coming in awfully hot, chum. I mean, I will say that. If I've offended you in some way, I'm terribly sorry, but I don't quite see where I've stepped in the shit, but apparently my shoes stink, you know?
Don't worry about it. This one's just in a bad mood today.
I don't smell any shit.
I appreciate that. I mean, I'm glad to hear it.
Why are we here?
The spinner has a task for you as a new entrance to the city. We were warned that you'd be coming to Baruun. The web moves in mysterious ways. It has all of us bound. There is a task that you need to perform, a task that we unfortunately are unable to perform for ourselves. You may have noticed that there's more bedrolls here than people, and there are 4 bedrolls and only 3. One of ours is locked in the jails of Barun. We need to get her out. Got in a bar fight, tavern brawl, things got out of hand, things got rather ugly by all accounts. She was alone. And it is important that we get her out now. I suggested that we could have done it ourselves, but the spinner doesn't want us compromised. Been here a long time. Wouldn't be a good use of our resources for us to have to break camp, find a new city. So this has fallen to you.
This is what I is good at.
Oh, good. Well, that's very encouraging, because I'm not the stealthiest, you see. I mean, Goff might be. You know, you wouldn't notice him, would you? And Goff is still just staring into the middle distance. I mean, you watch him and he doesn't even blink.
Is he all right?
Roll me persuasion.
That is 16.
He dreams. He dreams. And he wakes screaming. I just think he's tired.
We're all tired.
How long has he been that way?
Ever since I've known him. Maybe... He joined the chapter maybe 18 months ago. Year and a half, something like that, you know. Some stay for a long time. I mean, they're assigned to us.
So you're a spy?
I'm whatever the web needs me to be. I'm not much of a brawler, but certain company excluded, people seem to find me charming.
So you got your ear to the ground?
Yeah, I do my best.
What happened with the mural?
Someone came in, painted on it.
Don't give me that. What happened with the mural?
Someone came in, painted on it. Guards don't seem to know who it was.
The web is wide. That's not a good enough answer.
I'm sorry, it's the only one I can give you.
The shadow will flood. What does that mean?
What was written on the... I have no idea.
You're giving a lot of vague answers for someone who's supposedly been here for over 18
I'm giving
months.
a lot of very specific answers for someone who knows the limits of their information and knows the limits of their control here. I can't tell you. I'm not going to guess.
Radiant, I think he's telling the truth.
Well, you can roll, if you want to try and discern if he is, you can always roll an insight. You just want to go off vibes. Great. If anyone else wants to roll insight on him, you're able to.
Sure. That's a 12.
I think I will too.
Sure.
24.
You don't discern any lie in him, either of you.
Yeah.
He seems very, you're checking for sort of eyes darting from side to side or nervous ticks. Nothing.
When does this need to happen?
Well, the sooner the better. Could happen tonight. It could happen... Tonight would be best.
Okay. I think we can manage that.
Why do we need to break them out when all they've done is have a brawl?
Something else sounds like.
She has wider responsibilities, and she can be a little erratic.
She's your boss.
No, nominally I'm hers, but you'd have to try and explain that to her. I've tried to get that into her head. You see how you do when you meet her. She's a member of the chapter. I'm chapter head. Juno is my second. And then Goff and Medea make up the rest of the chapter. We're a small group, but we do what we can. Information gathering.
Seems simple. Let's just get this done, and then we'll do what we came here to do.
I wants to go up to Goff and just looking at Goff and just place a little odd hand just on their shoulder.
They and look at you.
And I just smile.
Roll me persuasion with disadvantage.
That is 17.
With a 17, they look at you, their breathing calms, but they put their hand, not breaking your gaze, take their hand off you and then slide themselves further back, actually into the corner of the room now, so their back is to the two walls. And they keep holding your gaze. And then after a while, they break off and they go back into the middle distance.
I guess we should get a description of who we're looking for, if they kind of know where. I know we're in the jail, but we've never been to Baruun. Not Well, I'd like to
You
hope
got-
we haven't been to the jail of Baruun, but like,
I mean, Endelian, you certainly haven't ever been in Barun jail.
yeah.
So he tells you that Barun jail is in the depths. It is a little subsection. It's nestled up against the walls, the external walls of the city, and it also has some walls that surrounded it. There's a jail itself, and then there's a sort of guardhouse next door to it. And he describes to you that it's a long room with a long kind of space with a flat roof. And he tells you as well that the guard changes at midnight. Normally there are guards patrolling around the cells. Typically at midnight there's a sort of 10-15 minute window when people are changing, and that tends to be they would know people who'd spent time in there, and that tends to be the best time to try and get out, because people's guards are down a little bit. End of shift, beginning of shift, people maybe not quite as on the ball as they would normally be. And at this point, it's probably 10 o'clock at night.
How many guards are there?
Well, that would depend. That would depend on the day, on whether or not they felt they needed extra muscle. The majority of the guards would be on the gatehouse, on the walls. Within the jails themselves, perhaps half a dozen split around.
Are there any other side entrances? Sewers?
There are sewers, yes, but you'd struggle to go in. All around the city are grates. The sewers flow fast underneath at the convergence of the rivers, but they all flow out. Great volumes of water flowing out into lakes that are spotted around the districts beyond the walls. I don't know anyone who could swim up them. You'd have to be impossibly strong. It'd be a way out. You could find a way of getting out that way. You could do that. There's skylights in the roof.
Mm-hmm.
That would be your main ways in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the roof of the jail itself is lower than the level of the exterior walls. You could find a way of getting on the walls of the city, perhaps.
I's going to take off this cloak and hands it to Dolly and says,
People likes talking to you. I likes the shadows.
And that's the cloak of many fashions, which can take on the appearance of any other cloak.
I'll take care of it.
We can give you something to help. And he goes into his pack and gets out a set of thieves' tools to help you pick locks. And he says, I don't know which one of you is best suited to this sort of behavior.
I just literally, just without a question, just boom.
Roll me a sleight of hand check to essentially take them out of his hand.
That is a 24.
And he holds his hand out and they're immediately gone. And he looks at you and smiles and says, now that bodes very well. No, good. I like this one. It's very impressive.
Okay, well, we'll see it done.
I'm glad.
Anything else we need to know before we go?
Not that I can think of.
Okay.
What does she look like?
She's young, curly blonde hair. Small, she's a halfling. She looks sweeter than she is. Although that is a low bar.
All right.
Everyone ready?
Ready.
How do you want to do this? Do you want to... What do you want to do? You are still in the apothecary. You can prepare some stuff. You can case the joint. You can do whatever you like.
I think maybe we'd make our way towards there and from a distance, kind of have a look at the place first.
Guards change at midnight? Is that
Yes, so it's
Yeah,
about
so you've
10
got...
nights.
It's about 10 o'clock, so you've probably got a couple of hours before the guards change.
I think we needs to take a look.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So the way to get back down there, you retrace your steps back through the marketplace. And you go down the stairs, and some of the heavy industry of Baruun is finished for the night, but but not all of it. And there are still those who are working through the night. Like, you're starting to hear and smell and see different things now. It's less foundries and that sort of stuff. It's more, you can start to smell like bread dough, and you can see like food being prepared for the next morning, and things like
I'm just deeply regretting rolling my perception with advantage to look in an inn and not. We need to go and scope it.
You'll be all right, my love.
To have a
You'll
look
be all
at
right.
and Baruun jail. I mean, as you're walking around, no one is really bothering you. You could, to all intents and purposes, yes, you're not wearing the same clothes as a lot of the people of Baruun. You do stick out a little bit in that regard. You're not wrapped up against the cold, and you don't have the hats with kind of ear mufflers or anything to kind of block your ears from the sounds of industry. But by and large, no one's really bothered about some people strolling around the depths at any time of night. It's constantly open. And in the northeastern corner, northeastern quadrant, if you like, that is where the jail house is. You can see that it is a tall, these high walls with a single gatehouse that everyone roll me some perception checks. Let's see how much you're able to case this joint from the outside.
18.
18 from Radiant.
9.
9 from Indelian. I?
16.
16.
17.
17.
19.
19, great. So everyone apart from Indelian is able to kind of pretty much see the same stuff, which is there are these high walls. It's quite brightly lit. It's like this area is intentionally brightly lit. The gates are shut and the doors are solid wood, so you can't see through, but you could imagine there's probably a courtyard beyond, and from where you are down at ground level, you can't see higher than the walls. You can see that there are guards on top of the gatehouse, a couple, and then there are others that are in pairs patrolling along the length of the walls. But they seem to be chatting rather than unwavering sentinels.
What's the situation with the noise here?
It's noisy. Yeah, it's noisy. You're still next to lots of...
Okay, so I turns around and says,
Noise is good.
Yep, noise is gonna hopefully give us some cover.
I have a plan. Hear me out. Dolly and I go in. Your cloak. I shall disguise myself. We are under the instructions of Marcus. The council have sent us to go and retrieve a prisoner. We don't know why. No one in the city knows what the hell they're doing. We swear blind. I have no idea why I'm here. We just have to get this prisoner. We go in, we convince them, you charm them, you walk straight in.
I don't know that a cloak and some nice words are gonna be enough to convince them of that.
What about a distraction? You did a distraction in the marketplace back at the Festival of Benediction. Can't we find some other way to make a noise or a commotion loud enough that will at least give the guards something else to think about while you try and sneak in a cloak and some nice words?
Okay, fine. You guys use a distraction.
I don't know if I can do this in the time that we have, but I do know a spell called Fog Cloud. And I can create a large area of fog that makes it very, very difficult to see.
Yeah, it can last for up to an hour. It only takes you an action to cast it. So you absolutely would have time to, if you have the...
It's whether or not I have time to prepare it, I suppose.
Oh, you didn't prepare it this morning? Then you can't prepare it, I'm afraid.
I'm just saying...
You could, if you wanted to wait till tomorrow night, you could do that.
Distractions is good for eye.
Distraction's probably the best bet. I think a combination of all of the above is probably gonna work.
Combination works.
I can go in through the skylight. That's the easiest point of entry.
Is there somewhere small?
You can't. You are on ground level. You're surrounded by other buildings. You are on ground level looking up at walls. You can't even see in there at the moment. You can't see in that quadrant.
How-
You would need to get up higher in order to be able to see over those walls if you wanted to kind
Can
of...
we take a stroll around maybe the perimeter, see what, if there are any ways we can get up?
Well, you're surrounded by other buildings
Okay.
that are some 2 or 3 stories high. So you could, in theory, go up some of these. You could go up into the upper levels of these buildings and try and find a vantage point.
Can you all cover your ears so I can ask Harry a question without metagaming? No, because it will.
Okay. Should we have everyone leave the room?
It's a quick question, but
Can everyone?
And I'm going to walk over to you.
Everyone leave.
Yeah,
Everyone,
everyone
no,
leave
you
the
stay
room.
here.
Okay.
So that everyone leave the room.
It's a really quick question,
I know,
but
I know
I know you know exactly what I'm about to ask.
Oh boy.
And not listening through Seb's mic either. No listening to Seb's mic.
Just stay here.
She never declared she had the ring, did she?
What ring?
The ring of Arita.
The ring of the Orator? No.
No, she didn't. So I don't know she's got it.
That's not what I thought you were going to ask me about.
Do you not?
No.
What do you think I was gonna? No, you can't
can't
tell
tell
me. Yeah. So in my head, I was like, we need a distraction, right? If you can everything within a mile, and you could speak to them,
I don't.
you could say something like the shadow would flood, and potentially for every guard and ally. And I don't know she's got it. Okay. And I think she's forgotten she's got it as well. Okay.
Here you go.
So we're all dead.
Hi.
I'm out. I'm out. I'm out.
And Delian emerges from the pile of bodies 1,000
Oh
feet
my
tall.
God.
Doing some busy work.
Okay. So yeah, you are looking at these buildings. There's ways that you could get up and have a look, but for now you can't see into that quadrant.
Okay.
We need to get inside. Can't you do something? Can't you turn into something? Sneak in some way. Tell us what's in there.
I could. How tall are the walls?
The walls are 20 feet high. So the walls of the ceiling of the entire level is 50 feet high. The walls around the jailhouse are 20 feet high, and the walls of Barun itself are 40 feet high.
Okay.
So the outer walls are 40 feet, and within those outer walls, there's like a quadrant with the jailhouse in it, and they're smaller walls. They're 20 feet.
Other than how big everything is, how little can you go?
Why
What?
can you
I
fly?
don't have a monster manual. Or no, I do have a monster manual.
You can't have a fly speed or a swim
I
speed.
can't
speed.
fly.
I think you can have a swim speed actually at 4th level. But
You
anyway,
can't fly it, but something that can scale
Thinking
stuff.
reconnaissance.
Yeah.
Something that can climb a wall, maybe? Like a lizard?
Yeah, through a gap or...
I
Oh.
don't have any stats for lizards. I don't know.
what do you? Well,
Cat?
I mean,
Could a cat can't jump 20 feet in the air.
Can't
though.
jump, but it
no.
Climb.
I mean,
Is it a climbable wall?
yeah. I mean, so climbing. The way climbing works in D&D is you can, in theory, kind of try to climb anything, and climbing takes double the movement that walking would. So if you can walk 30 feet, in theory, you can climb 15 feet in the same period of time. But if something is particularly difficult to climb, has very few handholds, like the wall of a jailhouse, I can, at my discretion, ask you to do an athletics check to climb it. Unless you are allowed to have beasts that have a climb speed. So I don't know how much not hand holding, but I don't know how much help to give you. I know you haven't used your wild shape before. I'll give you this hint once, but like something like a spider. You know,
Web is wide.
Yeah.
you can have something that swims, but you can't have anything that flies at 4th level. You can't use a flying speed until 8th level.
But there's no waterway in, is there, except for the sewers?
Except for the sewers.
But it's like you just said it was like a gate. So like you could easily just
Spider it up.
a
spider it through the gate and then you're in the courtyard.
I mean, a gate wouldn't be airtight.
And also, as well, because the problem with this is anything swim is you have to come out of it then to get around. Whereas a spider, once you're in, no one's going to spot a spider in the dark. You know what I mean?
It's also thematically satisfying.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
thematic.
And also the line, no one's going to spot a spider in the dark, is fucking great.
Would a spider be in the monster manual?
Yes, there are spiders in the
Just a
monster manual.
spider.
A 20-foot one.
Yeah.
Like-
Phase spider.
Yeah,
quick.
just go in like a ma-
Phase for away.
Sheila.
yeah.
Legally distinct.
Other,
Yeah, so a spider
other
is
spiders are
a spider is a tiny beast.
Tiny beast.
With a challenge rating of 0, so you could have it. You only have 1 HP, but you have 20 feet and a climbing speed of 20 feet. And you can climb difficult surfaces, including upside down on ceilings, without needing to make an ability check.
Where are you getting this? They're not in the monster manual.
Yeah, they are. They are.
They are now.
Not in mine.
Have a go.
Cool.
They-
Spider.
Yeah.
It is.
Peer pressure. Hey.
I was going to go with cat because I was thinking.
You can do what you like. Like do what
Is there-
Kelnis would do.
What's the gate?
The gate
Is it a solid gate or
it's
is it like iron?
it's a solid wooden gate with big sort of iron hinges. But with all of this, you know, this is the ground is. It's not like a concrete floor where the gate perfectly meets the base of it. These are all hand wrought, hand created things. There might be that much gap, something that a human or a kobold even couldn't fit through, but that a cat could slide its way under, or a cat could climb up a wall.
So the question is, I was thinking cat because people generally are kind of cool with cats.
I don't know inside a prison.
Well, you won't know until you try.
No.
True.
A cat has a climb speed of 30 feet and a speed of 40 feet, so it's faster than a spider. And it's a tiny beast, unaligned, challenge 0.
I think I'm going to turn into a black cat.
Very good. So,
Have you done it?
can you please? Yeah, you
Have I
doing
done
it?
Yes, I just say, excuse me a moment.
And
Do you need us to look the other?
so you expend 1 of your uses of wild shape for the day. And you can stay in this shape for 2 hours. It's now 10 o'clock. You can stay in this shape until midnight. Knowing that we can retcon this a little bit, and you can choose to do it a little bit later if you'd like to.
I was going to say, 10 past 10.
Totally. You've been. Is there anything anyone wants to do in the sort of 15 minutes?
I think we need to come up with a more solid plan.
Yes.
Okay, so let's do that
Right
with
now,
the knowledge
all he
that
has
somewhere
is cat
between
goes
10
in.
and
Yeah.
10:30,
Yeah.
Kel will turn into a cat.
So what are we suggesting? That Kelnis goes in, he recons the area, he tells us what's there, where the guards are. We know they're going to change at 12. So you go in, you have a look around, you have a scout around, you tell us what there is.
And I come back out, or do I stay in?
You has how many wild shape?
2.
2.
I believe it's 2. It's probably
Two
I
per
think
day.
it's your proficiency bonus. But I will check for you, just in case I'm wrong.
No.
There's still the issue of how we get in.
Yes. You.
You can use this feature twice. It's nothing to do with proficiency.
I was thinking.
I'm thinking, but then also once you wild shape, once you wild shape, what happens to supplies and everything like that?
You're a
It
cat.
just stays on you.
It does stay on you.
You can choose to let them drop where they are, or you can choose to have them just kind of become part of your wild shape.
Okay.
So I was thinking. I has rope.
Or you can wear them.
Anyone else has rope?
You would all have
Everyone
50
has
feet
rope.
of rope
Everyone has
in
rope.
your packs.
Is it good idea to give rope to Kelnis with thought that maybe rope can be tied in of a wall?
Maybe. If there's a...
Rope cannot be used
It's very
from
bright.
outside.
It's very brightly lit, this whole area.
But also sending Kelnis in to do reconnaissance, to then not come back out and tell us what he's found, is not
Yes.
reconnaissance.
I was thinking in emergency.
In emergency, sure.
I think it is sensible if I keeps a rope.
I think you need to stay hidden, too.
Listen, I still think I can change the way that I look. I can pretend to be a guard. I can pretend to be relieving the guard at 12 when it changes. I can try and sneak in.
Do we think reconnaissance first?
Why
then
don't
this?
Yes, why don't we maybe
Yes.
do that?
Yes.
And
Yes.
and if you find a way, or if you going in can distract for me to slip also.
Good idea.
What if I go in as a cat for reconnaissance, and then I come back out and we make a further plan depending on what I see? But a good distraction could be black bear as well.
Yeah, that's
Not a mean one, just a bear.
I don't think we need guards throwing arrows at you. I don't think bears walk through Baruun particularly often.
Okay.
Hear me out. You can disguise self as anyone.
So here is the language of disguised self, so you know exactly what you're dealing with. You make yourself, including your clothing, armor, weapons, and other belongings on your person, look different until the spell ends, which is 1 hour, or until you use your action to dismiss it. It doesn't require concentration. You can seem 1 foot shorter or taller, can appear thin, fat, or in between. You can't change your body type. You must adopt a form that has the same basic arrangement of limbs. Otherwise, the extent of the illusion is up to you. The changes wrought by this spell fail to hold up to physical inspection. If you use this spell to add a hat to your outfit, objects pass through the hat. Anyone who touches it would feel nothing and would feel your head or your hair. If you use this spell to appear thinner, the hand of someone reaches out to touch you would bump into you while it was still seemingly in midair. And to discern you are disguised, a creature can use its action to inspect your appearance and must proceed on an intelligence investigation check against your spell safety.
Okay. What was name of guard?
Marcus.
Marcus. Hear me here. Hear I out. You is Marcus. You is town guard with cloak. You
Points at Indelian.
prisoner.
Might
We-
work better the other way around. You look more of a guard than I am.
Yeah.
Okay. You has you.
For those listening, I am pointing at Dolly.
You gives cloak. You is guard. You is Marcus. You is prisoner. Prisoners is brought in all the time. I is sneaky. If you is able to distract, I is able to sneak. If distraction is also successful, you is able to walk freely in the prison.
And nothing's ever gone wrong for us, so I can't see
I'm
how
gonna
this
hand you
could
the
go
cloak.
badly. Yeah, no, it's the only plan we've got.
And I, not picking up on the sarcasm, goes,
Things has gone wrong sometimes. So, reconnaissance, lay of land.
and you have your wild form until gone the time. So if need be, if you remain in wild form while in that, you could go in, come out, go back in, and remain in wild form in there, sort of able to move around and report back.
And or just place myself strategically somewhere within the compound. Possibly even within, depending on what we see, within the cell that she's being held in.
You could go in, find the lay of the land, find the jail cell, tell us where it is, come back out, go back in, and then let them know that we're coming. Wait with us.
Because
But I don't think I can communicate.
I was going to say, I think cats can talk.
You can't talk as a cat.
Yeah, so
No,
I
you
wouldn't be able to
can't.
tell them.
No, you can't, but you'll still be there.
But can you send message and message back?
It has to be 120 feet, and I need to be able to see him.
But if you can see him, if he can't talk, can he respond in message when in wild form?
I'd have to speak to him first. He can only reply.
He can't initiate.
That's what I mean. But if you
Yeah.
were to initiate, could he, while in wild form, could he respond silently?
Yeah, I don't see why not. You maintain your own mental stats.
so then this is a way to speak. You send message, you reply, we get information, you remains wild shape.
You can't cast spells.
Technically, they reply
You can't
in a
cast spells and
whisper.
ability to. Yeah, you can't because
Okay.
you'd have to whisper.
Yeah.
And you can't cast spells, and your ability to speak or take any action that requires hands is limited to the.
So I couldn't actually do reconnaissance and then come back and tell them and then go
No.
back in because I'd have to.
That's fine.
You would
I
have
can
Not
to.
as a
plan
cat.
to dawn.
You'd have to turn back into a cat.
So then it was a question of what would you have to spend another wild shape to get back in? I guess that's favorable over you just being stuck outside, unless there is some benefit in having someone with very high perception remaining by the door, but then, I mean, you'd just be stuck outside not knowing what's going on inside. And your perception is actually very helpful inside.
Should we cross that bridge when we come
Yeah.
to it?
Yeah, I feel
go
I
in.
feel like if we thought Radium was a loose cannon, and Dalian's
Yeah.
probably getting a little fed up
Yeah,
with the
I
talking.
think so too.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So we has a plan.
Well, we have the beginnings of the plan.
Yeah. Go, pussycat, go.
So,
Poof.
Oh my god!
I'm a cat.
Kel turns into a black
also
cat.
comes over and
I'm a
screech.
beautiful black cat. I'm
Screech
a
cat.
beautiful black cat with two little tufts of white just under the eyes.
Gosh.
And otherwise just midnight black.
Dolly's gonna give him a little scratch behind you.
Yes.
Okay, so you turn into a cat. It is now 10:30 p.m. How do you want to do this?
So I think as a cat, how well lit is the space outside on the wall?
How well lit?
Outside the walls?
They've intentionally lit this area pretty well.
So are there shadows
There
to...
are absolutely shadows. It's still nighttime and it's still in a city with lots of walls and big buildings. So there's lots of shadow. Imagine it walking down a street lit road at night.
Can I? Sorry, but when I was scratching him, I cast Bardic Inspiration.
Great. So you have a D6
Six.
of Bardic Inspiration that you can use. So, great.
For anything.
You can use it
Ability
on something that
checks.
requires a D20 roll.
So say you rolled a d20 and it wasn't quite good enough, you could then use your bardic inspiration to add a roll of a d6 to it,
Yes,
correct?
But you have to do it before. Yeah, well done. But you have to do it before I've said it succeeds or fails. You have to look at the die and be like, is that going to work? I'll use it. And then if it still fails, then unfortunately.
So I roll a d20 and I have to decide then.
Yeah, whether or not you
Not,
want
not before I roll a
Yeah.
d20.
Yeah, before you roll it, because otherwise you might crit on it, and you're like, oh, I've just rolled a nat 20 and I've used a bardic. So,
So yeah, you'd roll first, and then before you tell Harry what you've rolled, you might go, I'm
gonna
going to
use
use
a
bardic
bardic, yeah.
inspiration.
Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is, as much as possible, I'm going to stick to the shadows
okay,
and head towards any gaps I can see in the gate. But when I can't be in the shadows, I'm just going to be all casual, like I'm just a cat.
yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone.
The role play.
I don't think anyone is looking out for a cat. It's a city. I described on your way in that there were cats and dogs running. This is where people live, and the gates of Barun don't seem to kind of close that much, and so it stands to reason that every now and then it's like no one's looking at a pigeon that's in a roof in a train station. You're like, that's not a spy, that's just a pigeon. So you're mooching about and you approach the gates, and there is enough room for you to kind of cat your way under the gates.
Okay, so yes, I cat my way under the gates.
Okay, so you slip under the gates, and what you can see is before you is a long, narrow building with a pitched roof with eaves. Sorry, not a pitched roof, a flat roof. From where you are, you can see there's a chimney in that roof. That's in front of you. An archway at the near end of it to you, and then like a barred gate. And then away to your left is a 2-story building, much smaller.
A barred gate, so that must be the jail. I'm just going to have a wander.
Okay.
I'm still, again, sticking as much as I can to the shadows.
Roll me a stealth check now that you're. Roll me a stealth check now that you're in here.
I think cats
so-
get +4 on stealth.
You absolutely do have +4 on stealth. So, the way this works is, your game statistics are replaced by the statistics of the beast, but you retain your alignment, personality, and intelligence, wisdom, and charisma scores. So your strength, your dexterity, and your constitution are now those of a cat, but your intelligence, wisdom, and charisma are still those of Kelnis.
God, that's
So I'm an ugly cat.
You're a beautiful cat. You also retain all of your skill and saving throws proficiencies in addition to gaining those of the creature. So if you can take whichever stealth is higher. You can use the +4 of the cat to stealth, or if you, as Kelnis, have higher than that, you can use Kelnis's stats.
Yes, the cat is better.
It's great. So you have a +4 to your stealth check. 18. No one's looking out for a cat. You slink through the shadows.
No one looks out for the cat.
And you approach, well, are you approaching what looks to be the jailhouse?
Yes.
Okay. As you approach, we are a little way from midnight here. We're a little way from the guards changing. And you see that there is, you're still in the shadows, you see that there is a guard just to the left of this kind of gate. There is what looks to be a little guardhouse. And there's a guard, a human, leaning on an open doorway, having a conversation with someone over his shoulder.
A guardhouse like a wooden structure.
Yeah, but a little. It's built of brick. It's sort of attached to the front of the jailhouse. It has a door. It's almost like a little. From where you are, it almost looks to be like a sort of a small room in which the guards could relax.
Mm.
And you can hear that they're chatting.
Okay. I think I retain my intelligence so I can understand what they're saying.
Yeah, do you want to listen in?
I'd like to listen in. Yes.
Okay. So you hear them. The one leaning, the human, says, they're still trying to get it scrubbed out of the stones. Tell you what, they'll be quiet tonight. And you hear another voice from deeper in that guardhouse saying, yeah, I think it shook them all up. And the first guard says, she belongs down there. No, let her rot. Do you see her do it? And then the other voice says, no, but I heard it. Where he screamed. Did she say why she did it? And the guard leaning on the doorway says, no, just watched him as he thrashed about.
Interesting. Okay, I want to make my way to the gate.
Okay, so as you get to that gate, roll me a stealth to get past the guard that is literally stood in the doorway. You're going to have to really stick to the shadows on this one. 16. I'm going to roll him a perception with disadvantage because I think this is a little bit more than passive. He is a guard on guard, but he's also having a conversation. Disadvantage. Okay, well, he rolled a 7 on the first. So he doesn't see you. And you approach this gate, and you can see through the bars in this gate that you could slip through. You can see a long stone floor with doors all alongside of this long central space. And they look like cell doors with the little sort of sliding hatches that you can open up to look at the prisoners and check up on them inside. And along this stone-floored space, the ground dips ever so slightly to a narrow grate in the center of the floor. And there are some trestle tables. And you can see a few guards scrubbing at the floor. Scrubbing with wire brushes at a dark patch on the floor.
Okay. Well, I think I have to go in. I have to find out more.
Okay. Roll me just a regular stealth check. I was going to say with advantage, but I don't think so. 9. Okay. As you roll, as you slip through the gap in this gate, you knock it with your body, and the gate moves ever so slightly. That gate is not secured. It's just something that you pull across. And you see one of the guards who's scrubbing at the thing looks around and goes, "Hey, what are you doing? Shh, push, 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 push." Like it's just sort of trying to shoo you out the gate. Bloody cat! Push, get out!
Okay. Rather than shooing, I go, wow! And I pad up to him and I rub myself on his leg.
Roll me a persuasion check.
It's a natural 20, but I have -1.
Natural 20. Nat 20. He goes, it's a, like a sort of, like an olive-skinned, like round-faced guard whose eyes immediately light up as you come on. He goes, oh, you are a piece of work, aren't you? Oh, look at you. Hey, Jeremiah. And another guard turns around and goes, look at that little thingy.
I give Jeremiah some love as well.
Oh, he likes you. He likes you. Oh, bless him. I tell you, he'd love. Have you, Olivia would love to see this. And Jeremiah goes, well, no. Wait till she comes up. Wait till she comes up. Oh, I want to bring him down to it. No, don't. Not after this morning. Wait till she comes up. Oh, do you want something to eat? And he's sort of scratching underneath your chin. Would you like a little bit of fish or something? Little bit of, Oh, he knows the word fish! He knows the word fish, the boy! Bless his heart. Get something. Go and get a, wait here, sort of points at you, and then he disappears into the guard room, and you can hear sort of distant conversation, like, look at some fish, like, what the fuck do you want fish for? Comes out, and he has just a tiny piece of, like, sort of a flaky white fish. Says, that's for you, little one. Oh.
Give him a little nurse.
Oh, look at him. I like him.
Okay, and then I kind of scarp her off playfully. Mm-hmm. I keep hearing this down there, the down there thing. I'm playing the cat who's curious and wandering around and stuff, but I'm looking for a way down.
Okay, so roll me an investigation check using your stats, because I don't think the cat will have proficiency in investigation.
17.
17. Of course, you rolled a beast of a character. You've got a heightened sense of smell as a cat. You start to walk, as you're walking towards and you're kind of playing with this guard who seems really into you and Jeremiah, the smell of this stain that they're trying to get out of the floor is like metallic, and you recognize it immediately as blood. Like it's that really irony. And then you get another smell, and it's the smell of like human waste. And as you look down into the grate, trying to follow that smell, there are these little holes in the grate, and you can see down in the basement, there is the top of a head, curly hair, in a cell, arms extended like that, the head slumped forward. Arms extended, look to be tied to the railings of a cell that's covered in detritus, the bars covered in detritus. So completely, the doors along here are doors with hatches. These are cells made entirely of metal bars, so you can see inside all the time. And you can look down and see that there is a curly blonde hair at the top of a head.
Mm-hmm. But I haven't seen anything yet.
At the far end of the room are two doors. The far, far end of the space.
Guard in front of each. One tells the truth.
Yeah.
I think I need to investigate the doors.
Okay, so one of them
This grate, it's not big enough for a cat to get through, is it?
No, the holes are probably the size of a large marble. In fact, those holes are probably the size of my chunky D20. So you can, certainly as a cat, you can very easily get your head down enough.
Okay. I need to check out these doors.
Okay, so one of the doors at the far end is this this one that's made of really heavy wood with lots of reinforcing bars of metal all across it, and that door is shut. And then to the left there is a door that's just ajar. and there is light coming from beyond it.
In I go.
In you go. Okay, it's like a kitchen. It's like a kitchen in a mess hall, and there's someone, washing up in a big stone basin the last of what looked to be sort of wooden plates and bowls. Big sort of muscly armed dwarf scrubbing. And there's a fireplace.
A fireplace.
Unlit fireplace.
How big is the fireplace?
It is big enough to put a spit roast of a small animal in there. So you couldn't get an entire side of beef, but you could get, you could put. It's big enough to have. It's a rotisserie 4 chickens, let's say.
Right. So it's not like a big enough chimney that somebody could come down it or anything like that.
I could get down it.
Could you?
I could. Harry
could get down the
get
chimney.
down it, mate. I'll do whatever I want. I wrote the world.
Like a string.
I, the character, not the me, could get down it, and you could get up it as a cat.
Why would I want to? Well, I guess I'll have to try. Maybe
You want to try and get up the chimney, climb up the chimney.
I'm just wondering. I'm sorry.
The fact that I can tell you can get up it is not me saying you
No,
need to
I
go,
know. I think it would be good to get up on the roof and see what I can see.
Okay. You want to try and do that by climbing up the chimney?
Sure.
Okay. Roll me a stealth check to get past this dwarf who's washing up.
9.
9. The dwarf puts a bowl down, and as they put the bowl down, they turn around and see you and they go, "Oi, get out of it!" and properly shepherd you towards the door. Properly like, go on, get yourself out of here. Like sort of does that thing where they sort of inside of the foot you towards the door. Hey! And shuts the door after you. And you hear, he kicked him out. He kicked him out. Come here, little puss. Like the guy's back with fish, but you're out of that room now.
Okay, well, I can't get into that bolted door. Is there anything else? Any other?
Other than the cells, there's nothing. And those cell doors have been made to a level where you as a cat can't get.
No.
Unless you wanted to try and jump in through an open hatch.
But I already know that the person we're after is not in one of those cells. So, I think I'm going to make my way towards the exit of this.
Mm-hmm. Same place you came in through.
Yes. Go past the dudes.
Mm-hmm.
Say hello.
Oh, see ya!
He's
lovely, wasn't he? Yeah, he was a good cat.
I go outside.
I needed that after today. It's been really horrible.
Spreading joy, aren't you?
Spreading joy everywhere I go.
I'm going to tell the kids about that. They love cats.
I feel like I want to go and check out the other building, the 2-story building.
Okay.
That.
So you head out and you go towards this other building, which is looks to be there's a kind of door. It's a more conventional, almost looks like a house. The door's shut, but there are windows in this, which there weren't windows before.
Are there sills that I could jump up on?
There are sills, yeah.
onto
So
and-
you jump up on a nearby windowsill and you can see in, and there is an orc with their back to the window. The window is shut, and they are surrounded by ledgers, and there are bookshelves, and they seem to be working on some kind of paperwork. Mm-hmm. That's all you can see in that room.
Okay. Can I just jump from sill to sill and see what else I can see in this?
I'll say you can.
structure?
I'll say that you can nip around the edge of this building, and the other thing that you see on this ground floor is a sort of larger mess room with half a dozen guards sort of lounging around.
Meanwhile, Radiant's outside going, what the hell's taking so long? This is
Yeah, what are you? Anything that you guys are doing while you're out there?
I think we're just sort of like keeping eyes out, keeping a lookout. Although I think, well, nothing's really changing as far as the outside is concerned.
As far as you're aware, no, nothing's really changing.
Is there an easy route up to the top of one of these buildings to get a look?
You can absolutely go into one of these buildings. Yeah.
Is there any that I can perceive to be more favourable? Like a,
Yeah. Roll me. Let's roll perception.
a 13.
You can see like some of these are still kind of busy and buzzy, and some of these are quieter and have almost been shut for the night.
Okay. I would like to. I mean, there's benefits to both. One is blending in, one is. And also, have they locked any doors on there? Is one able? I will try one of the quiet ones.
Okay, so you arrive at one of these quieter buildings. You look in through the window and you see that it looks to be something like a sort of small cottage industry style workshop that's making sort of hinges, like metal. There's little bits of kind of metal on tables that you can see through the windows. The door is locked. The windows are currently fastened, but there's no one inside.
Thieves' tools. How many uses?
Roll me a D.
Because I already had thieves. I've got his thieves' tools, and I already had mine.
How many uses of thieves' tools? I don't think I've really thought about that.
I think it's infinite.
Yeah, I don't think it's a small file, a set of lockpicks, a small mirror mounted on a metal handle, a set of narrow-bladed scissors, and a pair of pliers. Let's roll a D6. Let's roll 2D6.
That's a 2 and a 6.
Okay, so you have, across these two sets of thieves' tools, 8 lockpicks.
Okay.
But the rest of that, you have 2 sets of files, 2 small mirrors, 2 sets of narrow-bladed scissors, and 2 pairs of pliers.
Okay. I'd like to use one of the lockpicks to try and get it.
Okay, so it's a dexterity. It's not a sleight of hand. It's just a dexterity check. Use your dexterity modifier, and because you're proficient, are you proficient with thieves' tools?
I believe so. Yeah.
Just make sure that you are, because otherwise, we'll be in a world of trouble.
Proficiency with these tools lets you add
your proficiency modifier, which is a +2. So, do you have proficiency on your character sheet? It will say tool proficiencies, and you might have things like land vehicles or brewer's supplies
proficiencies in languages, tools, thieves' tools.
Thieves' tools, great. So you can add a +2. So you have a +7 to this roll, correct?
Yes, that is
dexterity
correct.
is +5, your proficiency is +2, so you can add a 7 to it.
Okay. It's a 9.
It's a 9. The lockpick breaks.
Yep. I will try again.
Okay.
Okay, that's much better. That is a 23.
Yeah, totally. Lock opens.
Okay, now inside, when I'm having a look around, can I see any bits of metal that look almost hook-like?
Ooh, roll me an investigation check. Nat 1. Okay. No. No, it's a big fat no.
Amidst this room of metal, I do not find anything.
What you find is essentially that all of their tools are either locked up or taken home overnight. So all you've got are hinges, like the flats of hinges.
Okay. This is like that Alanis Morissette song. Can I please make my way and try and get up to the top of this building to get a viewpoint?
Yeah, absolutely. So you climb up a couple of flights of stairs, and you find a room that overlooks the jail.
Okay.
And you can see over the wall, you can see a flat roof with skylights in it and a chimney. You can see a 2-story building to the left of it, and you can see that the external walls of Barun are higher than the walls of the jailhouse.
Yeah. And I do not perceive. What's the distance between here and the wall?
You are You are 150 feet
Okay.
from the wall.
And gauging what's the distance from the walls of Barun to is it like this is dead center and they are further out, or is it like this is closer and actually the walls of it go quite close to the walls of Barun at any point?
I'm really bad spatially. You're going to need to go
All
slower
good.
than that for
So
me.
basically, where I am right now is how many feet? Sorry.
150
Yeah.
feet.
So basically, is this the walls of Barun, are they the same and further, or is there one side of the prison which is actually kind of quite close to
Yeah,
the
so the
wall?
back of the prison building itself is
That's-
in the shadow of
Yeah.
is very much
What sort of distance are we looking at there?
it's probably 50 feet as you can gauge from there. So it's 50 feet from the back of
Are the walls of Barun, are they patrolled?
Sorry, 30 feet. Sorry,
Okay, 30 feet. Are the walls of Barun patrolled?
Roll me a perception check and see what you can see.
17.
17. Yeah, they're patrolled. Right now you can see one guard on a single person on patrol making their way around the walls.
Okay.
They seem to be less guarded than the walls of the jailhouse.
Yeah. Okay, so I would like to make my way back downstairs, back outside, and I say,
First of all, if anyone needs a hinge, here's many hinge.
Give some to Radiant, he's unhinged.
Hey! If only
Very
he was there.
good. So I would like to convey that there is this closer, maybe sort of vantage point down onto one of the walls, the back side of it, and that a couple of ropes tied together.
You could make your way onto the
potentially,
roof.
I could make my way down, but there would be the small matter of guards on the wall, but are fewer.
We've got a different way of getting in, but you need to find another way in.
So there is. What do we think is easier when you goes in? For me to slip by then, or is easier for me to go up on wall and in?
You got to tell us that, but it seems like going up on the walls more your thing, right?
Who has rope? Rope.
We're still waiting for Kelmus.
So, Kelnis, you have now kind of done a little circle of that guardhouse.
So this is all there is, right? There's the guardhouse,
Yep.
and then there's the
And
jail,
there's the jail
block.
block. Yeah.
There's nothing else, and there's a wall around all of this. It's 20 feet high.
Yeah, there's a wall. Essentially, if you're stood in the gate of the jailhouse looking out towards the rest of the city, there's a 20-foot wall that goes around the perimeter of the kind of little quarter with the gatehouse that you slipped under, and then behind you are the exterior walls of Barun, which are 40 feet high.
Okay, I want to go and explore the little guardhouse. I heard voices, but I didn't actually see how many people were in there.
Oh, the original guardhouse that was attached to the jail block.
Yes.
Great. You slip back there.
I'm wanting to get a body count.
Okay.
How many
Yep.
people are there?
So roll me a stealth check.
9 again. What is
9.
going on?
Okay. The same human is still kind of leaning in that door frame and goes, "Oi, where you go?" Oh, actually, he was from Yorkshire, so he goes, "Oi, away you go."
I say on my best Yorkshire accent as a cat.
I like you, kid. You got style. No, he's sort of watching you. Doesn't seem to be in the mood.
I just want to poke my head in
Yeah.
enough to kind of get a sense of how
So,
many bodies are in the room.
Let's see. Roll me an acrobatics check to see how quickly you can kind of crane your neck round before he chases you away. And you can use your stats or the cat stats.
18.
You also have Bardic.
Whoa. So yeah, you can see that there's another human and there's a dragonborn in there. So there are
So
three.
two-
There are 3. So there's the human in the doorway, and then there are 2 others. There are 3 guards there. 3 guards there. 3 guards actually inside on the ground floor, and they referenced another guard who they said, "Oh, you should get Olivia
Was
up from here."
downstairs, and there's the dwarven cook
Yeah,
who was mean to the cat.
yeah. That's the takeaway: is that
Yeah,
dwarven
yeah,
cook
yeah,
was
yeah.
unreasonable.
Regardless of
die.
what
He
happens,
needs to die.
then-
Yeah.
we're all
Punish
on the
the
same
cook.
page.
Okay, so at this point, I think I need to make my way back out
Sure.
and tell everyone what I've found out.
Very straightforward thing to do. So you just sort of allow yourself to be shooed away back under the gate. and you find your way back to your companions, who are all...
Yes, and I
Do we want...
shape...
Oh, you have done it.
I shapeshift back into... Shapeshift, that's not the right word.
You
I
undo
wild shape
Yep.
back into Calnus.
I'm going to say it's now... I'm going to say it's now probably 11:15. That took about 45 minutes.
Yeah. Did you find her?
Okay, so I tell them what I've seen.
Yep.
There are many guards. There are 2 buildings. Do you want me to go through all this?
No,
or-
it's totally fine. You tell them everything you've seen. You tell them that there's a jailhouse, long cells by either side. There's a grate. You saw down in the bottom of the grate a basement in which it looked like curly blonde hair.
Well, that's her.
And the bolted door
It's going to be a little bit more complicated.
and the
than first
chimney,
thought.
of course. But
You said
there are 1, 2, 7. There are at least 15 guards within the compound.
And you said there's no way to get inside those jail cells.
There's no way for a cat to get
There's
inside
no way,
those jail
yeah.
cells.
But
I couldn't do it.
you could see through the grate.
I could see through the grate in the floor. I couldn't see who or what might be in the jail
But
cells.
you said you saw someone with curly hair.
Yes, they were in the basement of the building.
That's her.
Yes, I think that's her. Yes, I think that's her.
Good, very good. Keeping it fresh.
So there's a world in which I could misty step inside the jail cell.
Absolutely.
There has to be, there has to be some kind of distraction. That many guards.
You're bringing in a prisoner.
I just don't think it's enough to distract that many guards. So, if something
Prisoners
goes
can
wrong,
fight back.
that's a lot of bodies
No one's
for us
looking.
to fight.
No one's looking for us.
A distraction doesn't necessarily mean a fight.
No, it doesn't.
Get me in there. Let's see what happens.
You're a charming human.
No, I'm not. That's the problem.
You've been with me long enough to know I'm not charming in any way, shape,
Because
or form.
anything I am is not charming.
I'm a charming tiefling.
I could, just to get us or someone in, I could wild shape again as the cat climb up the inside of the wall, wild shape back into Calnus from the top of the wall and drop a rope down to
The
provide access.
the jailhouse wall or the outer walls of Barun.
The jailhouse wall.
Okay, they're heavily guarded.
Are they? Oh, there are people up on the walls.
Yeah, so they are the people who originally, there were 2 up on the gatehouse and there are others patrolling in pairs walking up and down those walls.
So there's more.
Yeah, I think we gotta go in.
Sounds good.
And I will try the wall of Barun.
Well, no, we just gotta get you to the chimney, right?
Yes.
That's the goal. Is you're gonna go try and go down the chimney?
I can try the chimney.
What's the properties of this cloak?
The cloak of many fashions.
Yeah.
It can make itself. You've got it written down.
It's
Someone
a
should
cloak.
have
It
it
can
written
only
down.
ever look like a cloak.
It can only make itself look like another cloak. While wearing this cloak, you can use a bonus action to change the style, colour, and apparent
He's given it
quality
to
of the
him,
garment.
didn't
The
he?
cloak's weight doesn't change regardless of its appearance. The cloak can't be anything but a cloak, although it can duplicate the appearance of other magic cloaks. It doesn't gain their magical properties.
How long is the cloak?
How long is the cloak?
Yeah.
Well, I did say in a previous episode it's kobold size,
Yes.
but I
It's the cloak. Of
I think that's
fashion.
probably a bit of a mistake because it should adapt to the wearer, which means I apologise for the mistake I made in the previous episode.
Then no need for you to go through the walls. Just hide under Andelian's legs.
I could hide inside the cloak.
You would roll stealth with disadvantage doing that,
Disadvantage.
because I think to try and not stand out as a lump in someone's
Not when you're
legs
that good at
is
stealth.
would be a
There is no reason to disadvantage my stealth, I
No.
don't think.
I think we need to move. I think we've talked about it.
I think if I is going to get on the wall, I needs to start now.
Walling.
Great. Keep walling.
Okay. So tell me what you want to do.
First of all, I would like to just nip back in and grab a few hinges and just put it. You never knows when you might need a hinge and they is free. So,
It's all good stuff for the high chair design.
it is. I mean,
Put a little
yes,
tray
this is
on a
exactly
hinge.
what I was thinking. Yes. So I would like to just grab a handful of hinges.
Yeah.
Quickly shove them in my bag.
Yeah. Roll me a d4.
A D4. I grab 4.
Yeah, you have small hands, 4 hinges.
Excellent. Okay.
And then I would like to find. Do I need to get in like a door to get up to the wall?
You trying
the
to-
wall of Barun.
Well, the wall of Barun, there aren't just steps going up to
Yeah.
the outer walls of Barun, so you can try and climb the wall.
Then I will do this.
Okay, roll me a.
Well, before you go, so what are we doing?
Yeah, why are we going onto the wall of Baruun and not onto the wall of Jailhouse? Yeah,
I
why
is
you-
going
why
onto
you?
the wall of Barun.
Oh, I's not
So
here.
basically, I'm going up onto the wall of Barun because. Oh, that was it. I was going to say, someone hand me your ropes so I can tie them together.
So what essentially the plan is, as I understand it, is that the wall of the jailhouse is really, really guardy. So it's really difficult for him to climb it without being seen. Even though the walls of Barun are higher, he could climb up, get onto the external walls of Barun, and then get down onto the roof because it's less densely guarded.
Yeah. So I say, quick, rope. I need a couple of rope, and I want to fashion
How many lengths of rope?
So I have the 15.
50.
50?
50 feet
Oh.
of hempen
Yeah,
rope.
I mean, 15 feet of rope's not doing a lot for anyone, really.
Yeah, so then
I
50
is a small boy.
50 feet of rope you have.
Well, then I just go, oh, no, ignore me. Okay, well, I will like to make my way up the stairs and then try and get onto the wall of Barun.
Okay, so roll me a. I'm going to say you can roll an acrobatics check to try and climb up this wall.
That is a 19.
Okay, roll me a stealth check with advantage because that's a pretty good result.
That is a 21.
Okay, you all watch as it takes a little while. You have a climb speed of, I guess. Well, you don't have a climb speed, but it would take you the equivalent of 3 rounds. It takes you about. It's quite quick actually. It takes about 20 seconds to get up a 40-foot wall, maybe less than that. And he climbs up. You're finding little kind of claw gripping places in the brickwork, and you get yourself up onto this wall, in the shadows, quiet, dark. Roll me a luck check when you're up there to see if there is a guard
17.
close. There is not a guard close to you. I.
Superb.
So that's where I is.
Yep.
Do you want to sort of get in position?
Yes.
Great. So you creep along the top of the external walls of Barun.
Do I maybe need to find something to...
I'm going to assume that that's exactly what you're doing,
Yep.
and you're securing a rope, anchoring it to something with a knot that you can, unless you want to leave a rope up there, while these guys are getting into position and figuring out their strategy. So, Delian, Radian.
So we don't know what I's doing,
Done.
except that we see him.
We never know
clambering.
what I's doing.
Well, he's
I've
told
been- I've
you.
been
He's
based
explained,
on-
he's explained it.
Okay.
He's explained it to you.
I've
So
He's an enigma.
I don't think there's
Okay.
any reason why you'd be surprised by it.
No.
He can't get in with you, so he's going to
It
go
is
in
not
through.
our
He's going to try and
concern.
go in
Your
through the
goal
roof.
is to go down that chimney.
Well, my goal is to get onto the roof so that I can ideally get down the chimney, but if...
We'll find out.
We'll adapt if needed.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think we're going to have to adapt at some point.
Yes.
Okay, so the 3 of you approaching the gates. How do you want to play this?
Wait, am I just standing there like an umpty? We haven't decided what I'm doing.
You can always wild shape and go back in.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to
Why don't
suggest.
you
I
wild
could
chip
go.
into something small again, but this time you sort of on one of our shoulders, or on literally you walk in with
be a
us, and then
spider.
you're with us. Should everything absolutely go to hell, you could wild shape out, and then Tankness is with us.
Yeah, well,
If everything's fine, you're coming along for a free ride.
I was thinking I wild shape and I go back in, so I'm in
Meet
the
us
jail
in.
area.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Meet us in.
so that
Do you think?
Cat is well liked by some people.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you tell me what you're doing?
I think that's what I need to do because I just look like a dragonborn
Totally.
guy who's been sleeping in the woods for 2 nights.
So, what are you wild shaping into?
I will the cat again.
The cat again. Okay, so you turn back into the cat. Do you want to let these guys go first, or do you want to try and get in there before them?
I think I'll just I think I'll go kind of with them, but not with them.
Before or after?
Before.
Before.
I want to be inside the gate.
By the time they get in.
Yeah.
Okay, so roll me a stealth check as you get under that gate. You can use the
10.
cat's +4. A 10. I think there are guards who have a passive perception of 12 who are up on the walls, and I think you hear one of them go, Hey, that bloody cat's back. And another goes, leave it, it's a cat. You slip under the gate. They are watching you now. They are very aware of you being there. You're not unnoticed. But there's no immediate need for them to bash you about. Kick, or like kick a cat. I mean, there's never a reason to kick a cat.
I'm gonna no. I'm just gonna find some fluff balls to play with.
Great. So you're messing about near in the kind of area, and then the three of you approach the gates. Describe to me exactly how this looks.
So Radian has cast Disguise Self, in which his beautiful yet disfigured form is turned into that of a guard. I know that it was suggested that I would be Marcus, but I think those improvisational skills are not possessed by Radiance. So he is going to turn himself into one of the guards that he saw earlier, based on that. So looking very much like one of the town guards. He will be going by the name of Oliver.
Okay. One of the guards you saw before. Roll me a luck check. Do not roll a 1. What's the luck? What's on the die?
18.
18, fine. Oliver is not on guard duty in the jail today. Great.
And I don't know what you guys look like.
So you are in the brown, you've got the brown leather, you've got the armor that you've seen the guards wearing.
And am I still in possession of the cloak with the mask?
Yeah.
I suggest.
Oh.
No, let's keep this simple. You've had enough bad ideas today.
Okay.
And Delian?
But the cloak wouldn't. It's just the
Just
cloak,
changes
right?
a cloak. You're just you with a cloak.
Yes. You see, you're in the full get-up, but I'm in my clothes with a city guard cloak.
Yeah.
Would that even be enough to convince them?
You've not seen anyone wearing regular clothes with a city guard cloak
Yeah,
over the
I'm in
top. It's the
civics.
equivalent of wearing regular clothes, putting a high vis on and saying you're a traffic cop.
You're more than welcome to wait outside.
My character does not have particularly good charisma,
Okay,
particularly
right.
good.
Let's
I'm
let's
just,
You want to stay out?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Endelian waits outside the walls. And Dolly.
I mean, I'm just me. I guess I'm gonna. We're moving towards the area. I'm like, is your head on straight? Because we're about dangerous territory, and I need to know that you're not gonna do something ridiculously stupid.
I promise I won't.
Okay. You approach the gates.
Yeah.
You see, hey, you all right there?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just bringing this one in.
And then another voice says, bringing this one in.
Yeah.
Good
Wait.
off. It was like that when I got there.
Calm down.
Roll me performance. Both roll me performance, okay? Below a 10 is a fail. Above a 10 is a pass. And that one is 2 fails. You want to get
22.
22?
18.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it goes off absolutely beautifully.
I didn't do anything.
You were
This
loitering
is
around the mural.
the mural. But what am I going to do? If you find any paint on me? No.
That's not what Marcus's orders are. Anyone who loiters around there.
Well, Marcus told you to bring her in.
Yeah.
Roll me deception, Raven.
Let's fucking go. 21.
21. Right, boys, open the gate! And
Such a setup.
the gates open, and a dwarf appears at the bottom of the steps as the gates open and says, right, okay, I can take her from here.
No, I need to go with her.
Why?
Get off!
Hey, easy,
As you
easy
can
now.
see,
Get
she
off.
needs a bit of control.
Right, well, I'll come with you then.
Fine.
Right,
I know my rights. You can't do this.
there's another one coming in. And as you're walking towards the jailhouse, Kel, roll me perception check as the cat. You can use your mental stats.
Oh, sorry, perception.
Yeah, perception.
Sorry.
The cat has a +3.
Yeah, mine's
but you
better.
have a +6 or something, don't
I
you?
have a +7. Yeah.
+7.
Yeah, 13.
13. Okay. You see the dwarf that shushed you out, coming out of the gatehouse. It's midnight. You hear you see the 3 ones, including the one that really liked you, with buckets and brushes, kind of heading off towards the guards' mess, the separate building.
So there's nobody currently inside that building except the one who's in the basement with our quarry.
So there were 3 scrubbing the floor and 1 dwarf in the kitchen.
I thought there were 2 scrubbing the floor.
They're still they've gone. The 3 in that gatehouse, that sort of separate that little kind of gate guard room that's attached to the jailhouse, you haven't seen them move. There's still a light on in there. So you saw 3 in there. They were the ones talking about what did she do? Did she say anything? Now she just watched him. You haven't seen them leave, but you've now seen the 3 scrubbing the floor and the dwarf leave. You hear the commotion of Dolly, even over the sounds of things happening. You can hear that, like, get off me! I haven't done anything!
What time is it?
It's midnight.
It's dead on midnight. I'm going to take this moment because I know that this change is about to happen, and if there's ever a moment for me to make this move, it's now.
Okay.
So I would like to try and descend on this rope down onto the rooftop nearest.
Okay,
now, is it going to require an element of leap?
Yes, it absolutely is.
Yeah.
So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to go down there and you get a bit of a swing going, and then you're going to be an acrobatics check to jump and just to kind of let go of the rope and land on the roof.
That is an 8.
Okay. You get.
Oh wait, hold on. No, I mean I added my bonus, but it was a natural 1. I just realized.
It was a nat 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeez.
Okay, so you start to shimmy down this rope. You start to swing. And rather than swinging out, you start to swing side to side in a pendulous way, like going across the wall, like kind of windscreen wipering up against the inside of that external, going. Fortunately for you, the rope is 50 feet, which somewhat cushions the fall.
Mm-hmm.
But I am going to say, let me see how much. I think you're going to take 2d6 bludgeoning damage from the fall as you crash into the ground at the base of the external wall of Barun.
Yeah, that's 8.
8 damage, and you all hear a crash next to the back wall.
Listen, I didn't do anything wrong.
What was that?
Hey, did you hear that? And the dwarf is going to let go of you and like dash off towards the back wall.
Okay. I is gonna shit.
I is going to panic.
Yeah, literally, I is going to panic. Now, it took me how many seconds to get up on that wall?
It took you
18, I think it was.
You have 15 feet per 6 seconds. It's a 40-foot wall, so it takes you just under 18 seconds. So it probably takes you about 16 seconds to get up on the wall.
Okay.
But you've now got a rope, so I'm going to say it can take you 10 seconds to climb using a rope. It's much easier.
Then I'm going to go back up and I'm going to attempt again.
Okay. You're going to try and swing again.
By the way, is someone coming towards?
Yeah, the dwarf is running towards.
Okay, great.
But I'm assuming there's someone. So do you mean I'm like I don't know that they're coming?
No, you don't know that. You don't know they're coming.
I don't know they're
Hey, where are you going?
I'm good. Did you not hear that?
Doesn't matter. We've got a prisoner here.
You've got her this far. I'm sure you can get her somewhere else.
Shove him off.
Roll me persuasion with disadvantage.
14.
14. He shouts out, Lanark! Lanark! And you see like one of the heads poke out from the little gatehouse that you've already had a look in, attached to the main jail. And this human head pops out, the one that was talking earlier. And you hear the dwarf go and check the back wall! Roll me a perception with disadvantage because you are
10.
very much you hear that. You hear the back wall.
Okay.
Would I see that guard come out? Because
No, they're all within the walls of the. You
Okay.
can't see anything.
Okay.
You're not
Yeah.
even in the compound.
In that case, then, from where I am on the wall,
Yep.
I'm going to boom, 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 grab the rope, pull it up. I want to. So if I want to get up there, so I'm going to climb up, and then I'm going to bring the rope up with me,
Okay.
and sort of tuck myself back on the wall of Barun
Yep.
in an attempt just to basically, if anyone to like look out,
Yep.
look around, I am.
Okay. I'm going to say it takes 10 seconds to do that. That is faster than that guy can get there. So roll me a stealth check roll me an acrobatics check to see how quickly you get up.
Is that Cox, do you reckon?
Yeah.
Or is that okay?
Why was it good?
No, it wasn't particularly good. But it was all right. It was not too dissimilar to this. It's a 16.
16, yeah. You absolutely get up there. Roll me stealth.
That is an 18.
Okay, yeah. The guy, you guys hear, this guy disappears around the back and you hear him go, "There's nothing! Must have been an echo!"
You coming or what?
Right, well, let's bring her in. And lead you towards this gatehouse. What are you doing at this point, Cal?
I've seen all these people exit the building. I'm making my way in.
Okay. I'll say in all that commotion, you can absolutely get yourself back where you were, in through the gate under a trestle table, because there are these trestle tables going along. In through the bars of the gate, and there
The
are
one
those-
going into the jailhouse.
Sorry, you don't have to. You tell me what you want to do.
No, that's what I mean.
Yes.
The one with all the doors, with the
Yes,
shutters and all
absolutely.
that
So
stuff. And
you got all these doors along the side.
Yeah.
There are these tables down the center with that sort of grate
Oh,
that you look
yes,
through.
yeah.
So in you go.
okay, and I go, and I'm going to take myself right back to the locked door.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm gonna release my wild shape
Okay.
and open the door.
The door is locked.
Locked.
Roll me a stealth check.
The biggest character we have.
Don't forget Bardic.
That's right. 10.
Are you going to use Bardic?
Do I save it for when I really need it?
I think you might need it.
Okay. Yes, you're probably right. Okay, yeah, I'll use it.
The D6, which you add.
Gives me a 13.
13. You hear a whispered voice go, "Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing?" And you look towards the voice, and in one of the jail cells, there's like a human with sandy-coloured hair and sort of sunken eyes, watery blue. "Hey, what are you doing? Help me. You can see you're not a guard. You've got very little time to react to this.
I want to go try the door for his cell.
Okay, locked.
No keys. Can
Okay.
I do a quick search of the room just to see if there are keys hanging on a wall or something?
Let's have roll initiative, Radian and Kelmus. Whoever rolls higher gets into this space first.
11.
11.
7.
7. Okay, so as you hear that, like as he's going, help me, you hear people coming in. Radian with Dolly and with this other guard. You have the chance to hide if you want to. If not, they are going to spot you.
Yeah, I want to hide.
Okay, where do you want to go? You can go into that
I'll
kitchen
go into
room.
the kitchen room.
Okay, roll me stealth.
10.
10. Okay, you
I
get.
keep rolling 6s. Why?
As you get in, as you get into the kitchen, you shut the door behind you, and there's the loud noise of a door shutting.
Can Dolly kick the door as they're going through the thing?
Roll me deception.
That's a... Where is my...
It can be performance, actually, deception or performance.
That's a 12.
12. that is his passive perception. So I will say with that, his head snaps to the door, and then he goes, What are you doing?
I said I didn't do anything.
Calm down.
Yeah. By the night, what is wrong with you?
Because I'm
If you've not
innocent.
done anything, then just go quiet.
Let
Have a
me
night in
go.
the cells and we'll let you go.
A night in the cells. Like I have time for that.
What else are you going to be doing at night time? I tell you what, it's a better place to rest your head than a lot of the places. Have you seen some of the shanties out there?
Yeah. Fine.
My word. Where'd you find her? By the mural.
Like I said, by the mural.
And she comes with all this attitude.
Yeah, that's why we need 2 people.
That's a shame. That's a shame.
A shame.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Fine.
I'm meant to be away to my bed.
Yeah, I was on my way to my bed
Fine
too.
then. Just leave.
But are
You'll be fine.
Are you going to behave yourself?
Probably not, but we'll see how we go.
Well,
She'll
I'm
behave
gonna-
herself.
Roll me performance, and you can give each other advantage as you try and get him.
19.
19.
Should I roll as
I'm
well?
in the kitchen listening to this.
Oh, he's rolled. I mean,
Oh, he rolled. Did he roll
he
twice?
rolled
Oh,
twice.
fine.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
That's all right. He goes, I hope when I come back tomorrow, you're long gone. I don't want you to be here.
I don't want to be here either.
Right. So get yourself some sleep. You're lucky. There aren't that many female. There's a few female-only cells that are actually quite quiet tonight. You got very reasonable people in with you.
Right.
I don't want to see you again here.
I wasn't supposed to be
You make
here
sure
anyway.
Marcus speaks to her in the morning.
I will
won't you?
do. I've got a question for you. A while back, you had someone come in here. Blonde-haired, dangerous.
He's just a con man, just a small-time card trickster.
Yeah? What about
Yeah.
a girl?
Don't. They took her downstairs. You hear what she did?
No, what?
Put someone's eyes out.
Eyes out.
In the middle of dinner as well.
Who?
You know the big guy, big guy, big barrel chest orc, Van Wyn? I
Doesn't
can't
ring a
remember.
bell.
But I don't know where she got the dagger from. She got both eyes.
It's pretty skillful, actually.
Shut up.
It was disgusting, is what it was. That your fella, Indy, you know that name. Your fella, Indy, aye, that shit him right up. He's like shaking like it happened to him. He used to sell with Van Wyn, you know.
Really?
Yeah, aye, it was proper messy. Look at that, points at the dark stain on the floor.
What is it?
That's his blood and eye juice.
Radian goes down, looks at the blood, puts his finger on it.
Oh, don't.
Ew.
Mate, what is wrong with you, pal? Come on, have a bit of dignity.
And you think I'm the brownie one?
That is a good point.
And there's a grate, right?
Yeah, there's a grate.
That her.
Yeah, of course it is in the drop cell. It's the only place for her.
Who else is down there?
Well, Olivia, but she'll be getting off in a minute. What? Oh, down there in the cells. You got that Dragonborn, you got Vlach, and who's the quiet one? Shaky. I think her name was... his name's Jago.
Jago.
Yeah, the one who, not nice. You don't want to know.
Boring.
Can you get this one into your cell and I'll be
I'll
away
do
to my
it.
bed?
I'll need the keys.
You not got your set?
No.
You are what's your name, by the way? I've not seen you around here.
When
Oliver. Weird name. All right. Well, look. Put them back in the.
Yeah,
when you
just
give them
to me.
Because if it comes back on me and Cash gets all, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go on then. Right. I don't want to see you again. And he disappears out of there.
I check around, there's no one else here.
I think, has he left, the other guard?
The guards left.
So as I hear him leave, I just open the door to the kitchen a little bit,
Yeah.
peek out, and if I can see Radiant, I just go,
You see Cal whispering at you through a door.
Come in here.
You hear a voice go, Dolly. And you look and you see Indy hang on to the bar. Oh, it's you. Get me out.
Give me the keys.
Who is it?
Someone I used to work with.
Who is it?
Someone I used to work with.
Hand her the keys.
You unlock the door. As you unlock the door, he falls onto you and puts his arms around you and just starts sobbing into your shoulder. It was horrible. It was horrible.
I know. Let's go.
I've never seen anything like it. Did you come to get me out?
Yeah.
I knew you would. It's been so long.
I know.
It's been so long, and I didn't know what to do when Knox left. I didn't know what to do.
Where is he?
Knox?
Yeah.
I don't know. He just disappeared one day, and I've just been working the virtues by myself. I get picked up, and they put me in here, and they put me in here with monsters, honestly.
We'll talk about it. Not now.
You stay with me, won't you? Not
Yeah,
leave
of
me
course.
again.
Can you walk?
Yeah, of course I can walk. Of course I can walk.
We're going to need your help.
Right.
There's a girl down there.
I don't want to go near her. I'm not going anywhere
What
near
do
her.
you
I
know-
saw what she
do you
did.
know about her?
I saw her take someone's eyes out. It's the worst thing I've ever seen. She didn't even seem to worry about it. She just stared there and she watched him, and he was screaming. He was screaming like he was on fire, and she just watched.
That's good, because she's our friend and we need her.
No, I'm not. I don't know.
And you don't worry
No.
about
I
it.
don't want to help you. Then
You
I
are
don't
gonna
want.
help us.
I can't.
We helped you.
I can't.
You know her, right?
Yeah.
And she wouldn't do anything to put you in harm.
And he looks at you. What do I do?
Let him go. He's not going to be much help now anyway.
Fine.
Go.
Right. And he starts to pick his way slowly towards that first door. 3 of you are here.
The door to the basement is over there.
Let's go. We got to move fast.
Yep.
Okay. You are up on the top.
Looking down, peering over, has this dude, as soon as he went, it's just an echo, he's gone.
Yeah, he's kind of meandered back towards the guardhouse.
Then I will try my acrobatics again, I guess.
Yep.
Just a little, before I do it, just a little
Yeah,
dust down
yourself
and just
down.
go. It's a 13.
It's a 13. Okay, with a 13, you go down, you swing out, you land clumsily but barely onto the roof. As you let go of as you try to pull on the rope to release it, you slip. Roll me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh my god, it's a nat 1.
Okay, you slam to the ground.
Oh my God.
That is another 2d6 full damage, bludgeoning damage.
Master of stealth over here.
God, he's good.
I take 9 damage.
Okay, 9 damage.
I'm down to 14.
Okay.
You're the lowest you've I've ever been.
Dolly's feeling fresh for
I'm
that.
going to say a fall from that distance rather than the fall from the entirety of the wall, especially when there's a precedent that that there are echoes rebounding off this part of the wall. No one comes for now. But I am going to roll for Indy, because you've just sent Indy out of the main door of a guarded gatehouse. Okay. Indy rolled a 16 on stealth. So for that, Indy picks his way to the front of the building. I'm going to have another one for him to try and get across the courtyard, but he's not trying to get across there now. We're back with the 3 of you in there. Eye is on the floor next to this building.
So I'm outside still.
You're still outside.
Next time.
Okay.
Should have come out of the cloak.
That would have been the smart move.
Yeah. Are we back with us?
Yeah, back with
I
you.
think.
What do you know about this place, Cal?
What do I know about what?
This place, where do we go?
All I know is that door is locked, and the person we want is
We
likely
got
to be in
keys.
the
Let's
basement.
move.
You've got keys.
I've got keys.
You're a guard.
Yeah,
You're
I
dressed
am.
as a guard.
I am.
So perhaps we can use that.
Tell us where to go. We're going there now.
We're going down. We have to open this
Let's
door.
open the door.
Okay,
I'll get the
as
key.
you open the door, as you pull it behind you and shut it, you hear, in Eye you would hear this as well, and in Delian you would hear this from outside. You hear, "Oi, there's someone in the quad!" And you can hear the guards like running towards the quad. You have shut the door behind you. You don't know if they're talking about you yet, but you are still in the shadows. I'm just going to stay with these three for now, and then we're going to figure out what to do with you. So as you open this door, there's this smell that hits you like a wall. It's pungent waste. It's the minerality of blood. And you descend the stairs into dank dark. There's light dripping in through holes in the grate above, but there's a sound of rushing water. The stench increases as you reach the bottom of the stairs. And built into alcoves in the wall are barred cells, only 2 of which are occupied. A figure lies in one with the curve of their back visible in the shadows as they face away, and in another, a dragonborn averts their gaze as soon as you enter, studying the dust on the cell floor. And as above, there's a grate in the floor of this space. And there's a single cell at the center beneath the grate above it in the ceiling. And the bars are stained, and within the cell, blood-stained arms spread wide by chains that are wrapped around her and then fastened in a single lock. At her chest is a young blonde halfling. There is also a single guard reading a book by candlelight.
Go on, Radiant. Work your magic.
All right. You bringing another one down? Are you?
Yeah. Stop it. She took someone's eye out.
I know you're not going to believe this. That's the second one today.
What?
I know. You took an eye out, did you?
Yeah, they had it coming.
I tell you what, she's lucky we don't put her in the drop. It's only because she's literally done something twice as worse and points.
I left
points
them with
to
one,
the
didn't I?
You're my relief then, are you?
Yeah.
Right, I tell you. And she consults a watch. She looks at a sundial. She goes, I heard the bells go a while ago. You probably should have come down here a little while ago. It stinks down here, I tell
Yeah, we
you.
tried. We had a couple of distractions. There's a lot of people shouting upstairs.
Oh, you hear that? I just
I
thought,
can't believe
what's
it.
gone on, eh?
I don't know, some kind of commotion in the courtyard we had to get through.
Aye, well, I'm away to my bed then. You staying down here?
Yeah.
All right, fine. And then she brings you in, and she says to you, I swear before the 9, I never seen anything as dark as what she done. You watch her, and points at the halfling, points at Medea. And then she goes up the stairs again. So, we're now with you at the base of the jailhouse, in between the external wall of Barun and the wall of the jail cell. It's the kind of jail building itself. You can hear this commotion happening in the courtyard as someone shouts, there's someone in the quad. Go streaking round the quad. My favourite memes.
I did that once.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
Save it for action, sir, baby. Right,
Well, then I just want to scale the wall of the 20-foot wall of the building.
Great.
To
So
make my way down the chimney.
you make your way up there. Get into the. So what are you doing with the rope? Are you leaving the rope secured up there, or are you kind of trying to pull it down after you?
I mean, it is also a route out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to leave it there.
Okay, cool. So
Because also, in theory, I mean, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if that in the quad is me, so that could very well be.
yeah,
Like, they could be like, oh shit, this random guy in the quad is trying to make a break for it. Or,
It's Doug Cockle.
it's Doug Cockle appeared in a previous episode.
He's not wearing any clothes.
Again!
Again, constantly. Okay, so
The
let's.
struggle we have, people, of getting Doug to keep his clothes
Oh,
on
it's
is like...
So let's do a. You can climb up it. It'll take you. You can either climb up it sort of slowly and carefully over 2 rounds of movement, or if you want to try and get up there quick, you can do an acrobatics check to climb up there.
my acrobatics have been pretty hit and miss. I'll give it a shot.
But listen, Nibs missed a 3 nat 20s. That luck's
Yeah.
going to change one way or another.
Come on, baby.
Okay,
It's a 10.
It hasn't changed. So, but what? Okay, so I'm not. You don't fall. It just takes you the full 2 rounds. So you do get up there, and then there is this chimney which you are going to try and shimmy your way down.
Yeah, I mean, because everything's been going so well so far.
I'm really sorry. You are going to have to roll me an acrobatics check. You can roll, let's roll a dexterity saving throw to sort of try and get yourself down this chimney in a way that controls your motion.
I was going to say, dear Lord, if Kelnis did not convey that there's a fire down there.
Oh yeah. No, there specifically was a fire that was out, which I'm going to assume that you said.
Acrobatics.
You
Do
know
a
what?
dexterity saving
dexterity.
throw.
I haven't even considered that you might be going down a chimney that could be lit.
Yeah.
Go on.
That's a dirty 20.
It's like cool runnings.
Yeah.
You slide down there, kiss a lucky egg, and down you go. Everything's gravy, everything's good. You are now in a kitchen in a jailhouse, which actually, given where you've been, is a remarkably good place to find yourself.
You'll know the layout of this building because I've told you.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, anything that I could grab as I run on through that looks handy? Like, I mean, it's a kitchen. It could have, like...
Do you need more knives?
Roll me,
Is that what I
roll me
need?
an investigation check.
Yeah. So that is 17.
17. What exactly are you looking for?
Well, I mean, first of all, if we're in a kitchen and there could be sort of things for hanging on meat, again, hooks, things like that.
The
Things that could
Obsessed with.
be... I don't have a rope anymore. That could be good, then.
Today's obsession.
They've been cooking 50 feet of hempen rope. You find a load of. I'll tell you what you find. You find like loads. You find like butcher's twine, and you find. I would think they would take the knives out overnight, but you find. As you find a series of kind of cooking implements, wooden spoons, ladles.
I think Kelnis would like that, and I grabbed the spoon.
Right, you grab some spoons. You find like ladles that are hard enough that you feel like you could try and almost use one as a pry bar.
Okay, cool.
So you find that, and then also you find some caramel.
Ah.
find some caramel for
Okay.
and it says
Similar
it's
thing.
a little sort of caramel custard, which has a handwritten note that you can't read in common. But what you don't see is that it says Derek's don't touch.
So I immediately just grab that and stash it. And I take
Down the inside.
and I take the ladle.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't have any sense of what's going on the other side of this door, so I literally just crack it a little bit and I peer through.
Okay, you peer through. You can see all the way down through that sort of gated sliding door at the very far end of the space, which looks out into the quad. You can see, because it's lit out there, half a dozen guards like wrestling with this one really like pale guy who's like fighting and screaming. And you can see that along the cells within the actual jailhouse, those who've had their those whose sliders have been left open because obviously they can't open it themselves, they're like craning their heads out trying to see. No one's looking in your direction.
Okay, so I slip out. Do I see these guys at that moment?
They are downstairs.
They're downstairs. Of course they're downstairs, yeah. So I'm seeing that door is
It's
open to
open.
downstairs.
Oh, we closed it behind us,
I
didn't
think
we?
you did close it behind you.
Okay.
Although I tell you what you see. You see the door open and a guard with a big, with a book comes out, big, load of keys and a cudgel on her hip and goes, "Oh, by the virtuous..." She's Welsh, so she goes,
Bloody hell.
"Oh, bloody hell! My God!" And she...
Pam v do.
Pardon?
Pam v do.
Pam v do!
It means why me, God?
Why me, gods?
There you
Gods,
go.
Pam v doos. And she runs down towards towards all this commotion to help, and like all the guards, all the inmates, you can see like banging on the cell doors. But she leaves that door open now to the basement.
And as she runs, with the keys, are they fully fastened?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I know exactly what you're going to do.
Now, I wanted to maybe try and mage hand.
I'll tell you what you can do. You can make an Arcana check. You can make an Arcana check. There is a chance she could detect it, but you can make an Arcana check.
10.
Okay. It doesn't pass. You don't get the keys, but it's not such a, as she's running, it's not such a violent motion from the mage hand that she is bothered by it.
Okay.
The commotion, like, even as you're there, even in these moments that you're considering, she makes it to the quad. You can hear that, like, they're starting to subdue the guy outside.
Okay. So then I will... Do I follow and just try and get those keys off her? But she'll be surrounded by us. I'm going to slip downstairs.
Okay, you slip downstairs. Do you leave the door open behind you or close it?
Yeah, I'm going to take out a hinge. And
Right.
I'm going to close the door and I'm going to put it so that the hinge is wedged there so it stops the door from fully shutting.
Great.
Hinges would
Absolutely.
do something.
So, brilliant. So you essentially put a wedge in the door to stop it from being opened from that side. Okay. And you make your way down into this same space, this dank, fetid air, and you find Kel and Dolly and a disguised Radian, who you've seen, looking at this halfling suspended in the chains.
Okay, and I look and I go, this is Pamela?
The name of the person that we're looking for is it Medea?
Medea.
Okay. So we notice the eyes there. I have no idea the trials and tribulations you've been through. And we just
He's eating a caramel tart.
He does that thing with equipment where he goes, and he
Okay,
to
be fair, in this moment, then I will just enter in. I'll be eating the
You
caramel.
regain 1 HP.
And we're like,
Every little helps,
He's
sweetheart.
sugar addicted. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, I just want to whisper to Radiant because he looks like he's got a plan, or he looks like he's about to do something. I say, we should use these other prisoners as a distraction.
I'm thinking we go because I don't think we've got much time.
You haven't. You can hear the sounds. Like with all of this, there's a real time limit.
So
on it now.
Radiant kind of goes up to the bars and says to Medea, the web is wide.
And then she lifts her eyes to you and says, "Eyes are as to the stars in the sky. I knew you'd come. I knew someone had come."
Casper sent us.
You?
Casper sent us.
Oh, did he know? Not before time, I can tell you. As you can see, the hands, I've run into a little trouble. Struggling to get myself out of it at the moment, so any help would be greatly appreciated.
And we're here to help you, but under one condition.
What's that?
You don't do anything to us.
I got no interest in arming the web.
Because we've heard you've been pretty bad.
Should have seen it. And her eyes just gleam as she looks at you.
What did you do?
Let's go. We gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
1 second, what did you do?
Both eyes out.
Yeah.
Yeah. You ever seen a person without eyes? It's strange. They don't look like themselves, but they don't look like anything else either. They look like looking at a new moon, you know?
And for the first time, you properly see Radiant pull off his hood and reveal his horrifically scarred face. And he says, I've seen things you wouldn't believe.
I want to know about them.
Then you're going to come with us.
Lead the way. She's got this great big, so she's within a cell, which these prisoners are so high risk that they need to be on display all the time. So the floor of the cell is kind of rotting wooden planks, but the other 4 sides and the top of the cell are just bars, like a cage. There is a big lock on that thing, and then there are all these chains that are wrapped around her. It's like a single piece of chain secured with a lock where her heart would be, where her heart is.
Thieves' tools out.
Well,
We've got the keys.
He doesn't know.
lovely.
He didn't know.
Thieves' tools out, keys out.
Okay, and I literally look at the keys and I go.
By this point, you hear
Let's go.
you hear a noise as this person is starting to be dragged back in. You can hear shouts of like, "You stay with him! Stay with him! Don't let him go!" But the guards are bringing Indy back in.
Where you came from, what happened? Is it clear?
So,
Go out through the bottom. She looks down at the grate. enough of us could lift that.
Let's go.
Do it. So,
Kel? Give me a hand.
Oh, yes.
So
Oh, do we want...
you...
Do we want to let these other prisoners out just so they can go up and be a distraction?
I mean, you could try, but did you block the way?
It's not going to hold for long.
The door is stuck for 1, 2 people.
We don't know what they've done, but they could at least...
We don't have time.
We could give them a chance.
This thing now. Lift it now.
So you still have not got Medea out
Nope.
yet. Okay, so the 4 of you, this is a DC 50 athletics strength check to lift this
I'm
grip.
not doing
It is
it.
a
I'm not
heavy.
strong enough.
It is a heavy. You can
DC
but you
50?
can, you can
Here.
all add your scores to it.
Okay.
Yeah?
It's a strength.
Just a strength. Pure
Yeah.
strength.
So, Kel,
Nat 20.
nat 20 plus
Yes.
your strength modifier
+3, so 23.
plus 3. We'll call it a 25 for the crit. Radiant.
17.
17 takes us to 42.
13.
13 is a 55.
Also a 13.
Wow. Medea, looking like sort of smiles at you, and as you pull this thing off, like it's clearly all the waste from above flows down. She's covered in blood, but she hasn't been down there long enough to have anything else on her, really. But this grate is absolutely rank, and the smell of this fast-flowing, rushing water down below. She says, "Are you forgetting something?"
So Radiant unlocks the door. Is she just hung up, or is there just...
She's yeah. So roll me an investigation check.
Is a 19.
Okay. You look at the cell. She is hung up, chains wrapped around her, locks at her heart, but there is also a little glowing, in the top corner of the cell, like a little glowing glyph.
Yeah.
You notice that, almost pulsing as, like blinking on the bar.
I think they're gonna know when they release her.
We gotta do it and go.
The keys, I have the keys to the...
You have the keys, so you want to open the cell.
No, actually, no, I want to do detect magic.
Okay, you cast detect magic. There is some kind of abjuration. There is some kind of magical. Is it an abjuration actually? Yes, it is an abjuration. It's a type of magical alarm or sensor that is blinking.
It's just a sensor. I don't think it'll do anything for us.
We don't have time to think about it.
Okay.
I lean into her and I go,
Have you gone into the cell?
pardon?
Have you gone into the cell? You've opened the. Tell me what you've done.
So I've opened the lock.
Yeah.
I open the door.
Yeah.
And I misty step towards her.
Okay. Roll me a wisdom saving throw.
It's a shame. 4.
Okay. You watch as Radian goes and is paralyzed. He has hold person cast on him. The glyph goes casts hold person on him. His disguise self drops.
I shoot an arrow at the glyph quick.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you said I shoot an arrow, but you shoot an arrow at the glyph.
I'm the character, not me.
Yeah, without hesitation.
Okay. Roll an attack on the glyph, I guess.
Yep. That is an 18.
Okay. How to handle this? I mean, I would say that hits. Yeah, that hits the glyph, and the glyph dims.
Okay.
Dims or goes out? It just dims.
Goes out.
Okay. I mean,
Does anything happen to Radiant?
No, you've had whole person cast on you.
does anyone? I mean,
You hear. Let me try. Yeah, you hear from above. Do we put him down? Or put him back. They're having a debate at the moment about where to put Indy. You do not have much time.
I'm going to step forward into the room.
Step forward into the room?
Yeah.
Nothing happens.
Okay, I'm going to use the key, get the keys off Radiant and unlock.
Yeah.
What do we do with Radiant?
So you now have Medea. You have Medea steps out and goes, "We need a weapon. I need a weapon. Give me a weapon. Give me something. If it's all going to happen, I don't want to be alone."
Give her a hinge.
Okay, you give her a hinge.
I'll pass her my scimitar.
Okay, you pass her a scimitar, and she goes up to the Dragonborn, the cage with a Dragonborn, and she goes, come here, before you go, I want to tell you something." And he comes to the front, and she goes up through the underside of the throat, pulls it out, blood. Dragonborn drops to the floor. She goes, and then turns to you and goes, "I didn't like the way he looked at me."
Let's go. We need to go right now. Right now.
Yes.
As she's going, she goes up to the other cell where this human is, and she starts going, Jago, I know you can hear me. And you see the figure like push themselves even further into the shadows, and she says, "I know where you're from, Jago, and I know where your parents sleep, and I know that you're not going to say anything about my new friends here and what we've done." And then she steps away from the cell. Radiant is currently paralyzed.
Cal,
so
grab Radiant.
I manhandle Radiant.
Okay. So this lasts for 1 minute. So you get Radiant, you start to pull him out, and you hear, "Take him downstairs!"
Drop into the hole. Go, no.
And we do. I
Yeah.
do.
All of you?
Yep.
Okay.
For a second, I'm going to turn around and say, "Sorry, Indy, but there's much worse things than being left behind." And drop in the hole.
And you drop in, and Medea drops in after you. Here's how this is going to work. You essentially drop into a flume of waste.
Right.
You have multiple junctions that you need to try and do stuff on.
Yeah.
Let's everyone roll initiative, and we'll see what happens. I'm going to roll for Medea.
Nat 20.
Nat 20. Nat 20. Pretty good. Would anyone get higher than a 20 in any other way?
I got a dirty 20.
A dirty 20. Okay. So we will go Dolly. Then we'll go Kelnis. What did the other two get? Sorry that you're not here for this, Indelian. They're going on a flume.
No, cut to Indy and just
Is there anything you'd like to be doing outside the walls?
No,
Maybe another one of those delicious chicken skewers?
Yeah, I'm all good.
Okay. So what did Radiant get?
A filthy 6.
A filthy 6. And I?
14.
14. So it's I, then it's Medea, then it's Radiant. Here's how this is. In fact, initiative is almost irrelevant in this. Here's how this is going to work. You start to slide down this pipe. It's like a big clay pipe. You can feel the rush of water. It's too fast you can try and stop your momentum, but essentially you are flowing, and you're flowing fast downhill. You get to the first junction. As you start to get towards it, all of you are kind of
And I'm not.
well, within a minute.
Okay.
So I'm going to say, Kelnis is hanging on to you. Roll me a D6.
2.
Okay, you had 20 seconds. You have 20 seconds of free falling.
Okay.
Just before you get to this, not free falling, but still being paralyzed. And suddenly, Kelnis, you feel raging go, and he seems to he has full control of his limbs again.
Yeah.
Get off me.
You! As you're going down this pipe, as you're going down this kind of sewer, there's this big this kind of jarring bit of metal. Everyone roll me dexterity saving throws to duck as you slide down the pipe.
Dexterity saving throw is just 20 plus your dex modifier, right?
Unless you have proficiency in it due to your class, but I don't know if you do.
It's in the
If
ability
you-
saves and senses.
Ability saves and senses, you'll have saving throws, and you just add whatever it says there. to the
I would like to announce that I got a natural 20.
Hey! I'd say what that means you can roll your next one with advantage.
I would like to announce that I got a natural 1.
A natural one. Okay. Kelnis?
15.
15. And Dolly. Okay, so Dolly fails, and I fails. Medea got a 23. Oh, actually, she got a 26. The two of you, could you please, you take 1d8 bludgeoning damage.
Good.
2 points bludgeoning damage, and 5 for Dolly. The pipe continues faster and faster and faster, and it sort of lurches suddenly to the left, although there's a little gap left to the right. You've got to try and stay with the pipe as it lurches you round to the left. Everyone roll a strength saving throw. You can roll with advantage radiant because of your nat 20.
Oh, I got another nat 1.
Wow, man, you are doing the whole lot. You are doing the whole lot, baby.
Oh my god.
Okay, 7. So a fail for I, a fail for Dolly. Kelnis? 5. Medea got a 2.
Got 7.
Got a 7.
Wow.
Every single one of you fail. It lurches to the left. You try to follow the pipe, but you rocket out to the right-hand side, and you go off a sheer drop. Everybody roll me 2d6.
Chunky.
The only good thing about this is means you get to miss one out, actually, because you've now gone off the path. What did you get, I?
10. I'm down to 3 hit points.
You're down to 3 HP. Wow. Okay. We still have initiative, so you can choose to do various things as I mean, I wouldn't suggest drinking healing potions in the sewer, but you can have a bloody good go.
I mean, what else do I do? I could literally be dead in this sewer.
Yeah.
How do we revive me?
Yep. You miss out the third junction.
So the 2d6s, that's damage, right?
That's damage.
Can we use actions right now?
Yeah, absolutely you
Can I
can.
grab onto I and cast Healing Word?
Absolutely, yes. You grab to I. Can't
It's
Healing word!
I don't actually need to touch him, but I feel like we should hold on to each other just for moral support.
Let me tell you, if you tie a rope to each other, from my knowledge, that works quite well.
Right,
And you left your
and as you approach, you can start to see light at the end of the tunnel.
1d4 plus
1d4
and there's more. That's moonlight. You see a little bit of moonlight above you as well, as there is a grate in the top of the pipe. And next to this grate that you can see coming up are metal rungs that have been hammered into the clay. Everyone roll me. You can choose athletics or acrobatics to cling onto these rungs and stop yourself going out.
For those at home that want to know, it was an 8 that I got from the healing.
Nat 1 for Radiant. Woohoo!
Sorry, what was it? Athletics or?
Or acrobatics. Medea passes. This is the highest DC. Kel? 12. I?
15.
15. And Dolly?
7.
Okay. You all fail. It's a DC 18.
Oof.
But what you see is Medea grabs onto it, swings like this little body. Did you take your scimitar back off her?
Oh, no.
Okay, she got your scimitar, baby. And she swings, hangs onto this thing, and she says, much obliged to you, give my regards to Casper, as the 4 of you just fly out beneath the city walls. And you come to rest with this great big splash of waste and stinking water in a lake just beyond the walls of Baruun, the moonlight flooding down towards you. And that's where we'll end our session.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. What's our housekeeping at this point that I have to try and remember to do?
It's Patreon.
Thank you. Yes, our Patreon has just launched. If you'd like to help us keep doing poo pipe related and horrible sadistic murder japes, and also, just my voice reel, then do go ahead and check us out on Patreon. And also, if you're listening to this, do please, we'd be very grateful for a review wherever you're getting your podcasts. Oh, and also check out our Discord. We have a lovely Discord.
Yes.
We do.
Go hang out there. Some of us pop in. I don't, because I still don't really know how the internet works.
Yeah.
But we're there and thereabouts. It's a marvelous group of
Can we call it can we say you come and join us down the Patreon poo pipe?
Down the Patreon.
Down the
Come
Patreon.
join us down the Patreon poo pipe. Come on, poo pipers.
And that's why none of you work in marketing.
It's a real shame. We will see you again soon for more adventures in the world of Reliquia. Bye-bye.